Hello, I'm MC Toon, and it's Tuesday night, and I have with me, he just joined, so I'm a little bit, I gotta fix it. I gotta get it working here. So just a second, I need to time this right because he wants to do it a certain way, so we're gonna do that. But, how are you all doing? This is gonna be an interesting one because my guest tonight is pretty well known. And I think it should be fun. So just a second, bear with me as I fix what it is that I'm working on. There's that. And I mean, we're going to have some music to entertain us to begin here. So I think it should be pretty fun. I don't know. I haven't heard the music yet, but I think it will be good. All right, let's see. You want to just give a mic check quick here, Pete?
We're in G.
There we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Pete Shea. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? This is called My Heart and Lute. I give thee all I can, no more than the offering to be. My heart and lute are all restored to thee. A lute is the song we use the same. The love and storm may fail alas to keep God's clouds away. And even if care at moments strays something's trying. Oh, let love but gently touch us. Oh, Lord, be sweet. Oh, let love but gently touch us. Oh, be sweet again. Thank you for that, MC June. That was My Heart and Lute. I didn't do the best version of it there, but thank you for allowing me to sing that on opening. Hope everyone is well, you included.
Well, thank you. I hope you're well too. Well, we talked a week ago, maybe a little longer ago, about coming on, and it has happened. So welcome to the show, and we have a little different than a debate. We didn't Pete didn't want to have a formalized debate. We just wanted to have a discussion. So that's what we're having here, and we each were going to bring some questions to be asking, and I have mine. I suppose you have yours.
I have mine in my brain, so
Okay.
that will do.
Excellent.
We're in this a long time, so we know the basic questions that we can ask the opponent. But yeah, feel free. Thank you for the welcome, and feel free to have anyone you like in to join in the conversation, or feel free to talk about to whatever extent any topic you feel like quizzing me on.
Okay. You want me to ask first?
Well, let me just say about the song I sang there.
Okay.
You were a bit worried that, talk about controversial things, maybe 9/11 being a hoax or the vaccine or Corona being a hoax or something like that. Nothing to do with that. That song is actually stems from Alice in Wonderland and a very significant book in these times, especially. And there's a greater story attached to that. And for that going on, the whole inspiration behind the music, which I didn't do justice to here, it would take up the whole show, Mactoon. So you can start off on whatever format you like. If you want to introduce ourselves, we've never spoken outside of beyond a week ago on Gem Panda's channel. So you can take it wherever you want, man.
All right. Well, I know that you've been kicking around for a while, and I have as well. Next month is 3 years of mostly uninterrupted Tuesday night live streams.
Okay.
And most of them have been a debate or a discussion of some sort with another flat earther. So, and you, some of the people in the audience
Are you a
have
flat
not.
earther, by the way? Are you a
No,
flat earther? I
no,
don't know.
no, that's
Are you a flat
silly.
earther or just debating the ball for the sake of things? Or
The Earth has been measured. I did it myself, but there are some people in the chat who don't know who you are. So maybe you want to introduce yourself.
okay, I think you'll find in general plenty of them do. I'm not looking at the chat, so I'm just having a conversation with you here. Organic, let it be. But pretty much, I'm a flat earther. I don't like any labels, but it came to realization about 10 years ago now. I'm an early flat earther, if you like, that what we've been told about the Earth is not so. Came by lots of other conspiracies. On the surface, it was obvious and clear that they just weren't so if it came away from an official story belief. So coming to flat Earth, I kind of considered it about 10 years ago, back 2011, for the first time. The due consideration landed on the place where I'm pretty much at now, but lots more beyond that. That the Earth, that the surface we're standing on, is first of all motionless, and then by extension, it's flat. But whatever it is, it's not what we're being told. So that's about 10 years ago. As I say, about late 2013, definitely flat earther. But after that, and now, if you ask me to summate in this as few words as possible, what is Earth? I say spinning ball. That's what I'd say, spinning ball. But Earth includes everything now, you see. Earth is not just a thing. Earth is not just an attribute of a thing. Like the surface of a table would be said to be flat, but you couldn't say the table is flat because you'd be pulled up in it. The table is made up of many different parts. So that's my sort of return to sender in a sense. But yeah, definitely a flat earther. I was inspired to go down a certain pathway. I have my own YouTube channel, about 160 shows or a bit more than that. For the most part, just like I'm here, play some music. I bring up some research or things I've been thinking about and just talk in general. So yeah, I'm not monetized, not in it for any sort of money, but yeah, I have a backing for the things I say, strange as they sound. I just warn anyone in this conversation, everything is going to sound strange to everyone. Everything is going to sound strange. If you haven't come away from a spinning ball Earth, or at least considered it, delved into that desolation row beyond, but you're not going to understand anything that's built on coming away from that. So you have to sort of stretch your mind if you're going to stay tuned, I should think. A little.
All right. So, all right. I have the first question ready.
Okay.
Who first measured the Earth to be flat?
You didn't, anyway, for certain. When it comes to, well, there's another aspect of my journey here. I can't trust anything in history. I hold characters like Newton never existed, Eratosthenes, especially, who's credited as being the first one to see Earth in its true form. I hold it never existed. But as the story goes, they're told to be the first to measure the Earth in its spherical, rotund form. Who measured it in its flat form? If you go back to cultures beyond that, if we're trusting any official stories, they already had the assumption that the Earth was flat. So Eratosthenes and his ilk came with the what do you call it? The mad suggestion that the Earth isn't flat. You know what I mean? And then it justified it over the course of history. So I don't know anyone. The Earth isn't flat. You can't measure the Earth flat directly. All you can do is measure local aspects, consider local aspects, consider attributes of the aspects that you're measuring, and then extend it onwards. The one thing I will say in response is all flatness or curvature relies on the initial assumption that the surface we're on moves. Because once you decide that the Earth's surface moves, then you dictate automatically what's going on in the sky. You dictate automatically what's happening in terms of Earth's rotundity or flatness or otherwise. So they're all intimately connected questions, and there's no simple answer to it. But no one has ever measured the Earth to be flat. No one has ever done that.
Nobody has ever measured the Earth to be flat.
No, you can't do it. How could you do it? You can only. It's like saying. Well, you're aware that the Earth
I can explain how you could do it. Right.
Before you do that, let me say what I mean by that exactly. You could set out to measure waters when it's still, and water surface of any volume you care to conjure up, be it from a bathtub to a swimming pool to a small lake to a larger lake. All you could ever do is measure that flatness, and by extension, then claim the flatness of something beyond that. So that's the sense I mean. How would you measure flatness of Earth?
I think that would be a fantastic way to do it. I would find a body of water, hopefully that was not very turbulent, something that's rather calm, maybe even something that's got some trees around it, things like that, so that it doesn't have a lot of splashing. And then I would do something to establish a flat benchmark, a plane from a certain area, and then I would go some distance out from where you establish that plane to see if there's any deviation from that plane. So
fair enough.
All right, so you don't know who first measured it. Do you have any measurements of significant portions of the Earth being flat?
Absolutely. When you talk about measurements, understandings more than measurements. All bodies of water remain flat. So when we experience a local puddle, when we look down at the local river at just exactly a high tide where there's no motion, we see flatness all the way. We can never measure curvature of the water, which is what you claim. So you put the onus back on me when all I'm doing is sticking to a standard. The standard had to become away from, remember, by the likes of Eratosthenes, who suggested that the Earth was rotund, or whoever else suggested that the Earth was in motion. You know what I mean? This is coming away from the standard. So you're treating that as the accepted truth without need for proving. And I have to come in and talk about somebody who measured the Earth as a whole to be flat. It's not right to do that. It's not fair to do it. You understand that, don't you? Because
no, not at all.
It's not established. This is the controversy here, whether
exactly.
It's flat or rotund.
So each side would need to provide the supporting evidence for the claim, right?
Well, there's no sides, but there's no sides on either side of the truth.
One side would be the Earth is flat. The other side would be the Earth is a sphere. So both sides would need to present some evidence. There's no one that's in and of itself the default. In isolation from other evidence, there is no default.
There are theories. So we have reality. When you talk about you measure the Earth's rotundity, fair enough. We can all do the same measurements. In other words, if I went over to your location and did the same things that you did, chances are, equipment allowing, I could get the same results. What's important here is the interpretation of the results. So when it comes to reality and when it comes to theories regarding the nature of reality, explanations for what is going on, you can have 1,000,001 different explanations. You have, just in Earth alone, we have flat Earth, concave Earth, hollow Earth, biodual, shallow Earth now, testicle Earth, dick Earth, you name it. All different, and all requiring expansion upon, but obviously requiring an internal sort of logical consistency. But all of them can't be true, Yep. All of them can't be. Flat Earth is reasonable. I'm not going to say spinning globe Earth is reasonable. Spinning globe Earth is insane, Mactoon. But it was just accepted as the norm, the standard that we were all brought up in. that when you ask the basic questions of how we arrived there, then the problems arise. And well, just let me finish by saying, yeah, when you establish a local horizontal by your lake, by the trees, how far would you extend that horizontal to with confidence? And these are all different, more difficult questions. Who would you say that the first guy was to prove rotundity as opposed to the prevailing cultures of the earth understanding that it was flat and stationary? Who would you say proffered the first
I
information?
don't know who was first.
Eratosthenes, I think, is generally credited.
He gets
Eratosthenes,
credit as one of the early ones that measured the radius of the Earth.
right.
Yeah, and certainly the idea that the Earth was spherical would have to then predate that, because he did not do anything to exclude the Earth being a different shape. He only had one measurement, so you'd need for that type of measurement, you'd need multiple measurements to exclude different ideas.
The funny thing is, I mean, this I don't trust history at all. At all.
Yeah.
I'm
So
alive
so
right now.
completely ignorable. We can absolutely ignore any claims about Eratosthenes and just do it ourselves, because
Right.
the Earth is still here, and people have the capability better than Eratosthenes' days to do the measurement, because we can communicate quickly with each other.
It's a good point. It's a good point, but in a sense, you're just validating what early man thought with his limited capabilities. So these people should be put up on a pedestal. Upon the highest pedestal above Eratosthenes should be put someone called Aristarchus, who was a heliocentrist 2,500 years ago. He was actually the father of heliocentrism.
Can I interrupt just real quick? Anamorphic Mind says, drink every time Pete brings up Aristarchus. People, do not, I'm telling you, alcohol poisoning is real. We don't want anybody to go to the hospital because of a drinking game.
Okay, well,
All
well, I'm
right,
about to
continue.
crack open a can. Fuck it, I was about to crack open a can, and I said it, so I gotta. If I don't do it, who's going to fucking do it?
Well, you go ahead. I got mine. I got mine right here. My
Cheers,
Toonshine.
cheers. Aristarchus. Well, I'll expand upon it in a second. Oh well.
All right, people, keep count.
Reason I mentioned Aristarchus in that light, what we were just talking about, forget about all of the ancient minds who suggested all of this, but he was the father of heliocentrism, Mattoon. He put the sun at the center, and the spinning, rotating planets around, rotund planets orbiting around. That was 2,500 years ago. And then comes Galileo. So Copernicus, Galileo, Kepler, they're all the heroes of modern times. But I'm saying, okay, fair enough. Let all of that go.
Yep.
When it comes to modern proofs, they're all on shaky territory. We can all take the same measurements, but it's the pre-assumptions we make, the pre-attachments we sort of cling to. And that's the problem.
So,
If
all
you're
right.
saying
So,
you measure the rotundity of the Earth, I guarantee you, bud, that you're going to have to use some sort of coordinate system that's already applied to a globe Earth. You can't do it without it.
so, certainly
That was funny.
you need to
That was
rely on
great timing,
measurements.
by the way.
What's that?
That was great timing when I just said Aristarchus and you read the chat and he said, have a drink, and I had a drink.
Well, I had been waiting for you to say it because I knew you were going to bring
Okay,
it up.
okay.
Animomorphic Mind said it a little earlier.
But that's
So
not the Aristarchus he meant, though, so there is a difference.
there's multiple Aristarchuses.
Oh, there
Is
is.
it
Oh, Aristarchus. Remember when you
what's
heard that word,
what's the
Mactoon, but
plural
that's a
for
different story.
Aristarchus?
Aristarchus. Aristarchus.
But what's the plural for it?
Oh, what's the plural?
Is it Aristarchi? Aristarchi?
No, that'll do. No, there are multiple Aristarchus.
Aristarchuses?
No, that'll do. Aristarchus. Each Aristarchus is a different thing, you see. Just because something has the same name. If I said to you the word soul, spell the word you think I'm thinking about.
That would be Psole. Silent P, of course.
That's a good answer, bud. Off the top of your head, I like it.
I
Now,
like
someone
this.
in chat,
I like the
tell me the
silent P.
definition of PSOLE, because I have 5 other souls in mind, but I never came across that one.
Yeah, I do like the silent P. Riley, on the other hand, likes the noisy P.
Well, Don't get me talking up. How many times have I been called Pissy Pete in the chat so far? Tell the truth,
Uh,
Mactoon.
I haven't seen that one yet. Oh, the TKE Media asked, is Toon drinking piss? He's asking if I am. No, I am not. That's not what I do. Somebody else might,
Not
but not
human piss,
me.
anyway, because obviously human piss isn't that color.
Well, I suppose if you've not had vitamin C, it might be.
Well, what is your drink, by the way, Mactoon? What are you drinking there?
This is Toonshine.
Oh, your own homebrew, is it?
Yeah, yep, Toonshine.
Nice one. Best way to go. Carling. Kind of Carling pure.
It's the same proof as Eric Dubé's 200 proofs.
Well, that's going to fuck you up, man. That's going to fuck your shit up.
It's actually 0 proof, but all right, where'd you go?
I'm just here at the window having a smoke. I hope you can hear me.
Okay. Well, it's a little quiet. Dora Nku says, if you drink on Aristarchus, you will end up as dodos. Dora,
Well,
don't bring up dodos. This is not about the dodo today.
Hey, how many shows have you done, Mactoon? I mean, how many flat earthers or other have you interviewed? You must be weary. You must be tired, sick to fucking death.
This is live stream number 276.
No way.
On this channel. But not all of them have been debates. Maybe half, maybe a bit more than half. I don't know. Now, Pete, do you know that you have gotten onto the Flurf wiki?
Well, tell me how.
There's a Wikipedia site for Flurfs, and you're on it.
Go on, tell me how. I don't know the context there.
Oh, so you know what Wikipedia is, right? So
yeah.
There are services where you can have your own topical Wikipedia subsites. It's not run by the same organization. So if you go to flurf.fandom.com, you can get to the Flurf wiki site, and you're on there. Pete,
is it associated with the dodo bird? It has to be, right?
No dodo bird association there. But I suppose if you wanted to have the dodo bird mentioned on your page, somebody might be able to put it up and update.
Listen, Mactoon, would you believe this?
No.
Michael Jackson knows who I am. Michael Jackson knows who I am. Paul McCartney knows who I am. Would you believe that?
Pete, Michael Jackson's not with us anymore.
What year are you in, man? What year are you in? It's like you never got the internet and looked up conspiracies, Michael Jackson faking his death, which becomes obvious with anyone who has half a brain.
Oh, that's right. Michael Jackson.
The internet. Hello.
Michael Jackson owns the bowling alley with Elvis. It's called King Lanes. It's in Albert Lee, Minnesota.
No way. Listen, I spoke to Elvis. I spoke in chat form to Elvis. I swear to you.
When?
It was on, I swear, listen to me now.
Dude, somebody was messing with you, Pete.
No, listen to me. This is true, right? ATS, above top secret. The conspiracy forum. Hang on, bear with me. Conspiracy forum. Remember, the internet was given to us. So all of these different sort of little offshoots were given to us. They're awaiting. We're like on the yellow brick road. We were led and said, and of course now we have the world's libraries at our fingertips. Anyway, above top secret, major conspiracy forum still is. John Cotner, the suggestion or a thread was started about John Cotner being Elvis. Now the suggestion is out there, but it was been spoken about a lot. And there was more and more people coming up with different evidences which pointed the same way. Well, didn't eventually, after a grand number of pages, lots of people stuck with it, didn't John Cotner himself join? And I'm certain that John Cotner is Elvis. My mother loves Elvis. She queued up for fucking GI Blues. I don't know, she went to the cinema about 16 times back whenever it came out. But the point is, I spoke to Elvis, and it was him. He's just a man. They're just men,
Was it just
Mattoon.
typing, or was it like
Yeah, but
voice and
it's I the
video?
context was different. He came in specifically to defend the situation, and he posted lots of stuff as well. So he could have been an actor outright, but I think we
Could
were
have
always
been.
meant to figure out that Elvis faked his death, who he was. We were always meant to figure it out by following the clues. Same thing with Michael Jackson. Obviously,
Oh,
faked his
hold
death,
on, Pete, just a
leaving
second.
clues for us. You know?
Joe Whipp has been in communication with Elvis, and Elvis just told him that he's never heard of you.
Well, that's the wrong Elvis. He's talking to the wrong Elvis. Tell that guy to stay off the
How
drugs.
many Elvi are there?
John Cotner is Elvis. Type in John Cotner in YouTube is Elvis. Elvis faked his death. It's obvious, but Elvis was also a twin. This is all a game of life in a sense. But the point I'm trying to make here is that these people who exit stage left, David Bowie is a great example. It's clear that
So
they, at
where
least
are
if you
they
have in
now?
mind the potential of fakery of death, they leave
But
you clues. They
but
leave
where
you
are they
clues
now,
for it.
Pete? Did they go somewhere? Are they like on the secret NASA moon base? I mean, never mind.
Now, listen to me. I don't pay attention to this Mactoon, but I'm certain you pay more attention than I do to QAnon or to the Q movement.
They're
They have
gone. They totally got washed out last year when none of their predictions came true.
right, but the idea, it's all a fucking setup. But the whole thing is, they hold steady to the idea that JFK faked his death, JFK Jr. faked his death, Michael Jackson faked his death, Princess Diana faked their death to
But where
fight
are
the
they?
dark powers from behind the scene. Do you know what I mean? So
I,
massive groups of these people think that Donald Trump was done out of an election. So this is their
all
idea.
right, but where are they? That's what I want to know, so we can go
That's
visit them.
that's what I'm saying. Well, where are they? They might be everywhere. There might be more places than what you know, in a
How
sense.
many Elvi are there if they're everywhere?
I'm not talking about
Is it
Elvis.
like Agent Smith from the Matrix 2?
Oh, well, there's lots of fakes around, but I'm not talking about that. In terms of the initial personality, there's only one man playing the role, of course, or one person playing the role. So they're active behind the scenes. Michael, you've heard there's a whole forum dedicated to Michael Jackson hoax death. Whole forum, and it's been active for years and years.
Yeah,
And it's very clear that he
doesn't
faked his death.
make
But
it
once you get beyond the
true.
obvious, McToon, this is where the dodo comes into it.
All right,
So Michael
all
Jackson
right.
left clues,
Hey,
apparently, that he returned as the
no
Five
dodos.
Alive
Come on,
dodo.
come on. Hold on.
Just saying.
Milky 60 said, in your response to the Earth being rotund said, "Don't rotundancy shame, please."
The thing
I mean, if
is,
it's a little, if
whoever
it's
the fuck
got,
it was,
dude, the Earth
yeah.
is old. It's got a little bulge in the middle. That happens, right? It's okay. Don't shame. All right, Mister.
Is someone hating on the bulge? Is someone hating
No,
on? I bet you the
are
ball they're
they're
hating on the
defending
bulge.
they're defending that and telling you don't be shaming the rotundancy. Mr. Mestizo says, a question for you, Pete. Is there a conspiracy theory you don't buy? Oh, that's a good one.
Well, of
Are
course,
there
I
any
haven't
that you've
heard.
rejected?
Well, can you name a few, for instance? I mean, I haven't heard all conspiracy theories. The ones I have considered and changed my mind regarding, it was because of a due process and
Okay.
due diligence
Do
applied.
you accept the conspiracy theory that birds are not real?
No,
All
no.
right.
I
We
feed the
have
birds.
one.
I have a load of food. I have a load
We
of
have
food left out for the local birds here.
we have
So
one.
they're
All
not
right.
real. I'm not real.
The second one. Do you think that dinosaurs existed?
Not as given, anyway. Not as given.
Not as given. So that's so
No.
you do buy into
But
that one. All right.
were there animals, strange animals? I hold that. I hold, for instance, that pixies or fairies definitely, or imps or gnomes. All these things could exist. A Bigfoot, definitely. Dragons, spirits, ghouls, ghosts. Yes, I'm in that realm. But in terms of the official story, the way I view the official story, not to throw it out completely as nonsense, but to see that it's all metaphor, it's leading to the greater truth to be unraveled because the lie is built on the truth.
All right.
That's
Another
it.
one. Do you think that mountains are fossilized giant trees?
Well, Enter Aristarchus. So that's
Oh boy.
Aristarchus number. Well, that's the main Aristarchus. So we had no forests in flat Earth where we have evidence for giant trees felled around the Earth. But the thing is, the whole of the Earth is the stump of a tree. We live in a fractal reality where we have immaterial expression into the material, and yeah, a fractal reality. And that tree stump is the dodo. That's the UN map, the Gleason's map when you look down, and the
I
tree
see.
itself,
So
Aristarchus.
you think it's the Gleason map? All right. Another one. Is Bat Boy real?
Is Bat Boy real?
I don't know. I'm just going through different suggestions. You asked me for suggestions that the chat is providing them.
No, I didn't ask you for suggest. No, I
No, you
said
said
you yourself, whatever format you
no,
wanted
no,
to
no, no.
stick to. Fuck the chat.
No.
Come on, hello,
For
chat.
what conspiracies is about what
Smash that super
conspiracies.
chat.
So it was about what conspiracies you do or do not believe in. So Bat Boy, I don't know. I probably
Okay,
don't
well,
know.
why not ask about real conspiracies like that affect us all?
All right.
Spinning Ball Earth, of
How
course, is a
about
massive
jet? Do
conspiracy.
you
The
think
moon
that jet
landing's
fuel?
massive conspiracy.
Jet fuel.
Oklahoma bombings, Waco, Columbine,
Hold
all
on.
fake. So,
Oh wait, I just you wanted me to ask you a couple. What about jet
all
fuel?
right, okay, go
Do you
on.
think that jet fuel is a conspiracy?
Who's that?
That some
Oh,
people
jet
think that
fuel. Okay, yeah.
that planes
Uh,
don't burn jet fuel.
Yeah. There's a plentiful supply of air up there. That will do. You're moving at such a speed that you can gather the air, and that will do the powering. It's like a windmill, so you don't need all the jet fuel. So not completely a conspiracy, but yeah, definitely not the amounts that they say they need.
All right. Do you have a 5G phone?
No, I don't think
No.
so. Anyway, I
Do
have the
you
cheapest phone possible.
do you think that 5G has anything going?
Possibly, definitely, possibly, because it depends on which way you look at it. If we're either all saved, according to my thinking, or we're doomed. If we're doomed, then everyone's after taking
So
an injection, for instance, over the hoax corona, and they now have bodies,
hey,
nanobots
we can't.
inside
We're
them.
not.
And if they
No,
turn
no,
up
no.
the
Hold on. We're not.
5Gs, if they turn up the
Pete,
5G
Pete,
frequency.
Pete. We gotta not go into that. That'll.
Yeah, but you asked me the
I
question.
know. I know. All right. Now, the anamorphic mind, who is, I think, a big fan, says the truth is that Robert De Niro is Michael Jackson, who is also, and this is new to me, Barack Obama, who is also Will Smith. The truth is out there. Don't know if I'm going for that one, but I don't know. That might be a bit far
Well,
for you
maybe you
too.
shouldn't read out every comment if you're not familiar with the commenter. But of course, there's a big. I do have my own channel, MacToon, and I did do a specific thing on Barack Obama, Will Smith, and Osama bin Laden. They're one and the same.
Yeah,
You peel off the mask. You
but
peel off the
Robert De
mask of
Niro.
Osama bin Laden. You get Obama. You peel off the mask of Obama. You get Fresh Prince Will Smith.
I saw that on Scooby Doo.
Scooby Doo Doo. Doggy?
I love that. All right. Connell Silverfur says Elvis faked his death and he's a flat earther. Amazing how all these conspiracy theories connect. Do you think that it? So wait, is Elvis a flat earther too?
Yes, of course he is.
Of course he is. Okay,
They're all flat earthers, man.
they all are. Even
Don't know.
Aristarchus. Did Aristarchus fake his death?
Our targets never existed, so you
Oh,
can answer that in whichever way you like.
oh.
Story, like the
What about
dodo
mud
bird.
floods?
Hey,
Mud
Mattoon, do
floods.
you believe? Hang on, let me ask you a question. Do you believe? Let me ask your chat the question here. Did they believe that the dodo bird existed as given?
Do they? Do you? All right, people. Do you think the dodo bird existed as given? I could
And you
make a
yourself
poll.
can answer as well.
I could make a poll for it. Here,
Yeah,
me
do that.
let me create a poll. Here you go. Did the dodo bird? I mean, maybe it's just a government spy drone. There we
Well,
go.
of course,
There
if
it
you're
is.
going to participate in the poll, you'll know the basic history story. The dumb dodo bird was it was so isolated in a calm, peaceful environment for millions of years until the arrival of man, and he didn't know or he didn't recognize evil. The dodo bird didn't recognize evil when it saw it, and it was wiped out, slaughtered, obliterated within less than 100 years.
Yeah.
That's the story.
That is
That's
the
the
story.
story.
All right. All right. The poll is running now. We'll see what we got. We got for an answer there. But while we're waiting, Marty Mad Scientist says, please shout out to PhD Tony for the Gutsick Gibbons show. Awesome deep science. I'm still only 20 minutes in after 4 days. Best ASMR ever. Have you ever heard PhD Tony talk?
No, no.
Now,
I
if
didn't
you're
hear.
ever this happens to people, right? You land in bed and you're like, you just can't get to sleep. The best way to get to sleep is to just play a PhD Tony video. Guaranteed about 3-4 minutes and you're out. But it's always good information from him.
Is he a sponsor or something? Are you do you do sort of Simon Dan sort of stuff? He slips in a few sponsors here and there.
No, PhD Tony is not a sponsor. I was kidding.
I don't know who that is. I don't know. I don't know.
He lives in Australia, and as his name suggests, he does have a PhD. All right, we've got.
Well, where does he keep it? Where does he keep his PhD?
I think he has it on the wall.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Since a PhD isn't actually a thing. It's not a physical.
But you want to be
thing.
using that, so at least take it off the wall, carry it with you.
Yeah, put it in his wallet. And so this is funny. I studied martial arts. I've taken a couple years off, but I'm a second degree black belt. And when you get a black belt, you get a card with your picture on it that says you're a black belt and has your information on it. And I always thought that was funny, right? It's in my wallet. My kids have it too. They're black belts too. And I'm like, oh, this is why you have it. So if you're about to get mugged, excuse me, sir, before you mug me, you grab your wallet, you pull out the card and say, just to inform you, I am right here. So just fair warning, let me put that back. All right, proceed with the mugging.
Very good. So we could say the equivalent is with a PhD, for instance. If you come across some dumbass, say you're walking into the mall, there's a guy talking about flat Earth, you go, "Excuse me, sir, I just want to warn you right now." And take out a little tiny miniature copy of his PhD on the wall. You're talking to me.
And maybe he could walk around with the flat top hat on too.
Well, the flat cap as well, which is for the bachelor. I hold a degree in mechanical engineering.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Like,
I know. I don't use it. I don't work in the area. You know what I mean? So I don't rely on it at all. But when it came to flat Earth thinking or thinking about reality in a real way, which is what mechanical engineering is, applied sort of physics. That's where it stood to me. That's where the most valuable lessons were learned.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I get it, but I don't value education anymore, man. You just fucking be. I even said it to someone today. I'm a busker. I play guitar. I busk. But I said they were queuing. They were standing up outside the university. I said, "You don't want to stand there, love, or you don't want to consider sending your children there. If you do that, they'll tell you that they'll tell your child that they're living on a spinning ball, careering to infinite empty space, or that Corona was really real and not a big hoax."
Oh, hold on a second. Don't get off topic there.
But I don't value education anymore.
So, all right. So I want to clarify this. So did you ever work as a mechanical engineer?
Just very briefly. Okay. I'm talking about 19. I'm 50 now, so I'm talking about 1995 when I graduated.
Okay.
So just very briefly.
Then what?
Well, that's my own life story. I didn't go back into that area, but coming to flat Earth, I'm thinking that's where it benefited me. I didn't belong in mechanical engineering to begin with. A whole series of circumstances led up to the choice of that course. But listen, I hope you're not laughing at me anyway.
No, PhD Tony's in chat.
They all know me in chat, and they know my story is consistent. I won €100 from Rupert Cow for the bet that he, like yourself, you haven't the mechanical engineer. I produced the bucking, the diploma or the degree, and he paid up on the bet. So,
all right, well, that's good. All right, no, I was laughing.
That's what I'm saying. I don't value it. I don't value it in that way. Anyone who has a PhD or qualification, I don't care about it in that sense. When it comes to self-defense, like you're saying, if I've messed with you and you whipped out that black card, I'd go, okay. I'm okay.
You might look at the picture and say, hold on a second. That guy in the picture is a little less rotund. Right?
You like that word. You like that word.
So PhD Tony, we were just talking about and giving him a little, poking him a little bit. He's in the chat. He says, at my university, the PhD guys get bonnets. So apparently they walk around and I don't know if he's from Australia. I don't know if the word bonnet has the same connotation there as it does here, but here it's like a kind of a floofy little thing, and it's kind of like young.
Oh, here it's like a little sort of a butt plug with feathers coming out of it, but I never go near that sort of stuff myself.
What kind of plug with? No, never mind. All right, let's check. We have the
words,
poll.
right? Words can fucking cause wars.
Jeez, no kidding. All right, the poll. Did the dodo bird exist? 268 votes. 94% says yes.
I'm fucking happy with that 6%, man. So that's about 8 people out of the whole total.
All right, all right, you 8 people. Come clean
I'm
now.
Happy with that.
Come clean in the chat. Who voted no?
I'm happy with that, though. The whole point of me mentioning that, Mactoon, is unless you at least entertain the possibility that the dodo bird never existed and was fabricated as a greater symbol, but then you're not going to follow what goes next. And that comes to Michael Jackson being the 5 Alive dodo. It connects to Paul/Fall, the Beatles replacement controversy. It connects to everything.
Actually,
so I'm happy with that. I'm happy with 94 versus 8%. 94%, let me just say this, on a visual computer analysis caption, you put George W. Bush, and you put Charles Manson, it says 94% says it's a complete match. That's not my information. So
okay. All right, so Norman Dixon says we've got it backwards. Paul is dead and Elvis is alive. Paul McCartney.
It's funny that Paul McCartney is connected to Michael Jackson, of course, via the Beatles catalog. Michael Jackson is the 5 Alive dodo.
Oh, because he knew.
My own find was that Paul/Fall is the dodo himself. So that's a great connection. But again, 94% of your audience completely lost.
All these people are the dodo, apparently.
Oh, there's a few. You know who is the dodo? According to the official story, Mactoon, the author of Alice in Wonderland, Alice Through the Looking Glass, who was nicknamed, because he was said to have a stammer, so he pronounced his name Charles Dodgson. So he was named Charles Dodgson. So he was nicknamed Dodo Dodgson. So he's the dodo as well.
Are you sure it wasn't Samuel Clemens?
That name rings a bell.
Yeah. All right. Brother Grief, for £20, who must be in England land, says, never caught you live before. Just wanted to send you a thank you for the best entertainment on YouTube. Well, you're welcome,
nice one.
Brother Grief.
Nice one. Well, he's my neighbor. I'm in Ireland land, and as I told you in little chat, we don't know anything about one another. We spoke briefly. We chatted briefly in text. I'm King of Era, Ireland, which is the island of Ireland, neighbours to where you got your £20 donation there. So it's euros here in Ireland. You're in the UK, which is England, either Scotland or Wales for Britain.
Oh, look at that. Justin Frank says, I think Pete Shea is Pratt's nicer brother. There you go.
I don't know who that is.
That's nice. You know Daniel Pratt.
Oh, right. What's he doing now? Have you interviewed him? Who was your best interviewer as a flat earther? Most revealing, challenging,
most revealing, most challenging. Well, I have yet to have any bring evidence, so it's kind of a multi-way tie on for best.
So no one at all. There was no one at all over the last year, 3 years,
3 years,
hundreds of shows. No one at all. Where have you been?
I don't know. I mean, one of these times somebody's going to bring some evidence and it'll be fun. But
what are you looking for? Are you looking for evidence of reality, or are you looking for evidence that goes against your theorizing? A theory, remember, or a hypothesis, a hypothesis, is just a notion. It's a proffered explanation for what may be happening.
Yeah, and then you test it and see if it passes or not. Now, question: you're calling me Mactoon as if I'm Scottish, but if I were Irish, what would you call me? Would you call me O'Toon?
I call you Mick. That's what I call you, Mick.
All right. So if I was Irish, I'd be Mick. Kyle Silverfer, he comes back with this one. Elvis is alive. The greater truth is we are all dead, and only he can bring us back to life again. Is that a the TV show Lost kind of thing? I hope it's not too.
Elvis is an anagram of lives. Elvis lived, funny enough, until he was 42 years of age. Have you ever read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or does 42 mean anything to you or anyone in chat?
Yes, I've read all 5 of the trilogy.
Nice one, bud. This is going to be a great chat.
I have them on the shelf right up here, all 5.
Oh, nice one. What's your favorite moment?
I don't know. I haven't read them for a few years. Uh-oh. Great Circle says I'm Mickey Seamus O'Toole.
That's brilliant.
McLeod is a Highlander, says Megan Satanis. All right. Let's here's Jolene. I think Jolene has a question for you.
I just call him Mick for short.
Jolene is wondering, does Kim Jong-un poop? Did he find a unicorn? Oh, did you, I think it froze. It froze or something. Oh, geez. I don't know what happened. What? Yes, PhD Tony, what do you get when you multiply 6 by 9? The answer is 42, provided you're working in base 13. Yes. Geez, I'll send him a message here on Discord. Looks like the call dropped. Well, I'll hopefully he can get going again. We'll see if he gets that going. It's been fun. He's interesting guy. I mean, I didn't really expect that he was going to have any evidence for flat Earth, and he did dodge that pretty quickly. So yes, does Kim Jong-un poop? Apparently not. That's so says the rumor that I think he wanted to have started. Sir Little Wolf says, Evil wrote Hound Dog for me, but Wolf too scary. What does that mean? I have no idea. Let's see. All right. Mr. Malort says, what is Pete's favorite Pogues song when he is busking? All right. I'm going to have to come back to that one. Hold on. All right. I'll put down the ones I got to come back to. Them in Evernote. And just a quick update for everybody. I've had no submissions to the Sexton challenge yet. I don't know why. It's been 4 weeks.
I got cut off. I came back in. Did you say sex change challenge? Someone got to prove that you're not a tranny.
No, Sextant. All right. There's no video. Just so you know.
Sex. Oh man, you gotta be.
Elvis wrote Hound Dog for me, but Wolf too scary. Seamus. Call me Seamus O'Toole.
You got to be paying attention to Nathan though. That's their killer apparently now these days. The Sexton, what we've come to find out, Sexton can only work logically, rationally, reasonably over a flat plane.
If that were the case, then they would have had a solution. But so far, nothing. Nothing at all. Mr. Malord is wondering, what's your favorite Pogues song when you're busking?
Oh, I sang it today. I sang 2 of them today. I play harmonica as well. One of them was A Pair of Brown Eyes, and the other one at the end, my parting song was Albert Bridge, Misty Morning, Albert Bridge. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Very good.
There you go. I didn't know that. I'm not big into the Pogues. I'm more into like Megadeth. So like you're in Ireland, there is a Megadeth song that kind of talks about Ireland, which is Holy War's Punishment Due. That song gives me chills right in the middle. Ooh, love that song.
Megadeth. I mean, I don't go for these sort of bands generally, but I'm sure every song is worth listening to. Do you play music yourself, by the way?
I press the play button.
Okay, well, that's there's music in all of us. You like the music, I guess. By extension, you play air guitar. If you're in the shower, you have you know what I mean. So there's music in us. There's waiting to come out. If you can get a black belt in what you say, is it karate or judo or whatever, martial art?
A martial art, yeah.
You can do anything. What are you going to tell your children? How you can do that at such an early age? What do you say, your children with black belts? Oh, you can do that, but yeah, you'll be shit at that. Don't even try it. Even though you know what I mean. This is something inside of us. Music is inside of us. Appreciation is inside of us. If the guitar isn't for you, if the piano isn't for you, you'll find something that is your expression of you.
I can play power chords.
So yeah, very good. So find it, or at least if you're giving up hope in yourself, Mactoon, spare the children.
Spare the children. Raza43 is a new member at Newton. Thank you. And NANA has little bit is wondering, did I have to register my fists as deadly weapons? I have not yet registered them, so don't tell anybody, but it's more this right here that's the one you got to look out for, because right there, that's
just the side here. What do you think of my fists? Are my fists
let's see this side. Let's see this side.
The dodo's fists.
All right, good.
Showing on screen for everyone.
So yep. Put the thumb on the inside. Never punch like that.
No, I know that. I know that. I wouldn't dream of it.
We'd get kids, they'd be like this. And their thumbs up like that. Like, don't punch like that, you're gonna hit your thumb and that's gonna hurt. Anyway.
What do you think about, and I'm not trained in any way, but who knows what the future holds. But instead of, when you're punching somebody, keeping the firm fist all the way through, just at the end, a relaxed, sort of like a slingshot effect, relaxing everything until the very last second, when then you crunch it up.
Oh, so it's almost like you've been in my class.
Okay, well,
that's
I'm just
exactly
saying, I don't, well, very good. So it makes sense, right?
Yes. So... ooh. Faran Salas says, I see Pete as a perfect mark for MLM vultures. You've been into any multi-level marketing
no,
opportunities?
I don't. It's not about money. I told you the other day, this is not about money. If I wanted to make money out of this, I'd make a fortune. David Weiss has made enough to be able to put 3 Bitcoins on a simple bet, which seemingly is simple bet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just fake. I know about his fake challenge. I've heard about it.
Well, yeah. Well, this is what I'm saying. I mean, this is not about money. It's never been about money for me. So no, I don't care about for making money. If I wanted to make money, I could do it easily. Get out of Bitcoin. Get out of Bitcoin, by the way. Ethereum. What does ether mean to you? See, everything has to connect ultimately. Otherwise, there's no point in anything. If you live your life, Mactoon, at this point especially, and say that, well, I believe all of science, what they've told me, well, then your life doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything at all. No matter what you do, it won't mean anything to your life. But if there's a different story, then the clues are there to possibly read.
All right. Remember, Seamus O'Toole. That's my Seamus.
That's a brilliant one. Michael Seamus O'Toole. Mactoon. Oh, Mactoon.
O'Toole. Dude, I'm Irish today, just like you. Stan Grabowski, or Stan O. Grabowski, if he were Irish, says the dodo bird died because it had a flat Earth map and wasn't able to migrate away from the Mauritius due to the inaccuracy of the map. Oh, that's sad.
That's Mauritius. The dodo bird is specific to Mauritius, where it was said to have evolved peaceful isolation, pretty much non-changing. So it went beyond the rules of evolution in the normal sense. It was a throwback to the past. And then came man. So this is a story, and within 100 years, the dumb dodo bird, because it hadn't learned to be fearful, exactly, which is not a dumb thing.
So
you know what I mean?
Did people then eat them?
What it said, it didn't take. The story is, of course, it's all bullshit. None of the dodo bird never existed, but as the story goes, yes, people hunted them just for fun.
So
They
why?
didn't even like the taste too much. So it was just a
But
exemplification of man's cruelty, man's imposition on
why do
a
you think that they
natural
didn't
species.
exist?
What's that?
Why do you think they did not exist?
Oh, I know the
No,
dodo
but
bird didn't
why?
exist.
What brought you to that?
Flat Earth,
But
Gleason's map. When we come to flat Earth, so imagine it was all a setup. So a game of clues. Imagine everything, as opposed to meaning nothing, means something. Then it's all a game of clues. So coming to flat Earth, the internet was given to us at the appropriate time, post 9/11 especially. Then game of clues, flat Earth is handed to us on a plate. And
wait,
as a flat Earther, the
the
map we're
internet's
all
been
faced
around
with,
since the
Mattoon,
70s.
the map we're all given is the Gleason's map. That's my point. Given the Gleason's map as a representation of flat Earth, and everyone clings to that. David Weiss has made a fortune out of his map, out of his app, his map app.
Map app, yeah.
His map app.
The wrong map.
Well, but he's used fundamentally the Gleason's map, and I could go into this, man. I don't want to bore everyone. I know I can talk, but if you ask me specific questions on this line of inquiry regarding the dodo, there's no one else on this plane can answer him. No one. Just saying.
Okay.
But to cut it short, the Gleason's map is the map given to us. And when we rotate the Gleason's map, so Australia's at the bottom, where we're all familiar with, another clue, like you're opening a combination lock, well, then a certain bird jumps out. And that bird is the dodo. And that begins then.
Wait, why does the bird jump out?
Well, do it. Bring it up for everyone on your computer, the Gleason's map, and rotate it so Australia's at the bottom. That's not the Gleason's map.
Well, Bob Nodell says this is.
Knob Nodell.
This is
the
map of the world according to Bob Nodell and some others. This is Bob Nodell's map, the flat map of the flat Earth according to Bob Nodell.
I mean,
can you believe that? This is Bob Nodell's map.
Bob Nodell?
No.
You looking for a fight? I have a card of my own. Are you looking for a fight?
All right, hold on. I got some here. Hold on. Oh, I didn't even start. I'm gonna have to get one going for you, Pete. I don't wanna. All right, I got it here. Hold on.
Well, it's not perfect. That's brilliant.
All right, I got this one here going. So, all right.
Nice one. You put a lot of work into this, man. I mean, I wonder how far have you come to. Let me ask you, while you're showing the Gleason's map to your community here, how far have you gone in terms of questioning the spinning ball Earth? I mean, have you tried to debunk it in every way imaginable and failed at every turn?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's a pretty powerful. Obviously, you're no fool. You're no dodo.
Thanks. All right. So here is the Gleason map, and you want me to rotate it so that
So
Australia's
before you rotate it, put it back the other way. So all of the flat Earth gurus, right? When we arrived at the scene, YouTube took off at maybe 2016, especially. Then you had the Patricia Steers, Mark Sargent, Glowbusters Bob, Journalism, Pancho Pete, Antonio Subarats, Miss what's the other one? Orphan Red. They all had the Gleason's map exactly as that up on their wall, and they're being presented to this new crowd awaiting, right? So here's my point. It's a clue for us. So if we rotate it, if you look at the map yourself, first of all, Mattoon, just turn around to your face.
I can see it.
To your own face.
I can see it right there on my screen.
Okay. Now, if you look at it, every other map, and even ask people in the so-called Southern Hemisphere, where are the maps orientated? Well, Australia's always at the bottom. So you're working your way up to the equator, and then you're working your way up towards the northern sort of aspects. So here we have the orientation completely arseways. It's around, Australia's at the top. So our clue is to spin it around so Australia is at the bottom. Yeah, so spin it around, not quite 180 degrees. That will do. That's perfect. Now, when we come to, here's another clue for us. When we come to flat Earth consideration, possibilities, we're brought back to a biblical sort of a story consideration. when we talk about a flood, or when we think about a flood, if we imagine some of those waters drained away, for instance, the Mediterranean Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, the Philippines, in and around the Philippines, Australia to New Zealand, a certain bird jumps out. And that bird is the dodo bird, which never existed, was created as a symbol, ultimately of referencing the true nature of our external reality. But more than that, because it's do, it's two and two, we have an internal reality. So it's all about division. So that's the
You're
point. And I
saying
think you
you're
get a
saying
good
it
you
it
get a good
looks
visual
like
on that, right? That's brilliant. Very
it
good.
looks like a dodo is what you're saying?
Yes, it does.
So because this looks somewhat like a dodo, therefore flat.
No. Remember I said you have to understand the dodo bird never existed, and 94% of your audience, and I guess if you include yourself, it'd be 94.23%.
Well, I got good news for you, Pete. It's gone down to 91%.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
9% are with you, Pete.
All
So
we're asked to do is consider symbols, and symbols have a greater power. For instance, if I was to ask you about a
hold,
Jesus,
hold
most
on.
people in your
I'm
audience would
gonna
say the
I'm
man
gonna
never existed, but there is some greater
I'm trying
potential
to shake the
within.
dodo out. We got some people saying it looks like a
I
roadrunner
believe
or a
I can
rooster.
fly.
All right. All right. Hold on. I need to catch up here. Um,
That's brilliant. Yeah, that's very good.
um, all right. Well,
And as I mentioned, Charles Dodo Dodgson, who's the author of Alice in Wonderland, chapter 3 of Alice in Wonderland, Alice meets the dodo. And I have something very fascinating. It all connects to this opening song as well. Apparently, this is one of the most significant books in history. When we think about the number of translations, the Bible is at the top, in some lists anyway. And I'm talking about more archaic lists as opposed to present day, where voluminous numbers are catered for. The Bible is at the top, the works of Shakespeare, and then Alice in Wonderland, Alice Through Looking Glass, the three most translated books throughout the world in history, up to a certain point anyway. Now, the point is, the Bible is 66 books, works of Shakespeare, at least 39, 40 plays. Alice in Wonderland, Alice Through Looking Glass, only two books. So that leaps them to the top then in terms of potential significance. I make the claim that all three works are by the same hand, first of all. So I'm just pointing out the potential significance in all of these clues.
okay. Um, Lael says Pete is Irish. He would know sheep info. Are you up to date on the current metric of sheep units for measuring length and weight and mass and?
Well, yeah, he is the wrong country, man. He needs to go to Wales. Wales is where everything's got to
See,
do with the
I
sheep.
thought it was
Ireland,
Scottish sheep units.
yeah, he's
That's what I've
just
been looking at.
Lael is confused. Doesn't know what's going on. I think he's either gay or tranny, one or the other. He probably has a sore arse. He doesn't know what way to
You
think.
think Lael is because he's
I don't know.
because he's laying down some heat there because you. All right, I got it. Andreas
Holy
Eld
smoke, indeed.
Andreas Eld says Elvis Presley is singing in a bar called The Domain of the King on an arid alien planet.
Excellent. Fucking Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Excellent. Listen, that's a great memory. Hang on, let me think of my. So Arthur Dent kept coming, or this creature kept incarnating, and every life Arthur Dent accidentally or by necessity killed this creature, Agrajag. You remember Agrajag? And every lifetime he was destined to be killed by Arthur Dent. So he was reincarnated, and as Arthur Dent went through the different fucking dimensions and time zones, he always ended up being killed by the same guy. So the revenge sort of instinct built up to such a degree. That's one of my great memories from from Hitchhiker's Guide. But on topic, 42 is given as this is the whole point of the book, and the heart of gold again is the central sort of operator, but it's an improbability drive. Anyway, 42. This is the answer. They have to work out their challenge with working out the ultimate question. When they thought they finally found it, Ford and Arthur on the prehistoric planet, where they remember that they picked out the rocks that are from a bag. Well, they laughed their arses off because they knew it was the wrong answer. So something had went wrong in the matrix. So what do you get when you multiply 9 by 6?
9 by 6, yeah.
It's obviously the wrong answer. It's 54, but the question still remains. And I'm going to say I've offered up the ultimate question to the ultimate answer, which is 42, to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. And it is, what do you get when you divide, along the same vein as well, what do you get when you divide 0 by 1? So that's something for
0 divided by
consideration.
1?
You have to take your time about thinking about it. You don't have to necessarily know about what do you call it, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and its association with 42, but 42 was especially significant. 2 dice, when you add up all sides, add to 42. 42 is, Alice in Wonderland. The author of Alice in Wonderland,
But
Charles Dodo Dodgson, calculated that when you drill a hole through the earth, straight line, you don't have to go through the center. It will take, if you jump into it, 42 minutes to come out the other side. So 42 is very
if you
significant.
jump in.
Yes, he calculated mathematically, but he never existed, Mactoon.
Why are you about 42 when so many of the others are about 33?
Well, see, if you think about the life, the universe, and everything, we are in a material existence, and you will say, as a scientific man, scientifically minded, principled man, that all there is the material. I'm not saying you will say it necessarily, but that's a prevailing view. Or at least the scientific mind will create the boundaries. It will say we deal in the things we know, the countable, the material. It's not that we deny God or we deny the immaterial or the spiritual. It's just we can't deal in it. We can't equate with it.
You might say, I might say, for example, that it is a material world and I am a material girl.
Shows your boobs. Shows your boobs.
That's a song. It's from a song.
Listen,
you're from the 80s.
I'm not going to take
anything
for granted anymore. After Antonio Superatz and Patricia Steer, I'm not going to take anything for granted. And I've just met you for the first time. And you have quite feminine hands, actually.
The hell are you talking about? Let me give you a piece of this right here, buddy.
Well, I'm from Ireland, and I spend my whole youth digging up spuds with my bare hands. My hands are like shovels, they tell me, like shovels.
Oh my gosh. I was on St. Patrick's Day when last week, right? We're walking to McDonald's to get a Shamrock Shake, which I didn't even have one. And my kid's like, I said, "Hey, do you know that St. Patrick chased all the snakes out of Ireland?" Right? Oh, did you freeze again?
No, you froze.
You're still there. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, what did the children say? You said, did you know that the...
Yeah, I explained the whole thing, that it gets accredited to him, but it's not real. So...
Well, what are you saying then? It's a lie. Do you tell your children about all lies? Are your children flat earthers?
Of course not. That'd be silly.
How can you lie to your children then? Come on, bud.
I don't.
You have to tell them a different truth.
They think it's funny. They're like, "What, Dad? Why these people?" Like, hey, they're people too. Some of them.
Jesus.
I mean, most of them.
Why would you say that? You have to say to your children that all manner of differing minds are capable of differing thoughts that you have no grasp on. So the only way is to be tolerant of every single thought, as long as it's coming from a pleasant or a non-combative mouth. That's it.
Right.
Otherwise, what the fuck
are you familiar? Now you've said that this is a dodo, but are you familiar with the cat earth idea?
I think that stems from, I know all these characters from the past. Cat Earth, that's more of a joke. It's a take on the dodo. Lots of things are a take on the dodo. Fepe, Fepe, Infinite Plane Society.
Oh, yeah.
He came up very shortly after the dodo. Fepe came on the scene, who he has the face of Homer Simpson. Homer Simpson is famous for his doughs and his donuts. So yeah, lots of things have stemmed from the dodo cat idea. It's in mockery, but yeah, let's hear the bones of it.
Oh,
Let's 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 see
I,
it.
I just somebody had sent me a picture of it, and I thought it was kind of funny.
Do you think that they hang on? Do you think that they? So for a second, if you suspend disbelief, if the dodo bird didn't exist, can you see where I'm coming from? When what I just said with the Gleason's map there, because of course there's
No,
more to it. That was just the introduction to it. It looks like
no,
a bird, right?
not
It
at
looks
all.
like a bird.
I mean,
You can't see it looks like a bird.
just because something looks like something doesn't have a whole lot of meaning to it. I
I'm
don't.
saying, does it look like
Yeah.
a bird to you?
No, I
If
don't.
I said, does that look like a shark?
I don't
Would you
think
say,
it looks
or
like a bird. When I hold it like that, I
yeah?
don't think it looks like a bird.
Are you serious?
Absolutely, I think it.
So the beak up at South America, that's the beak. Down along the neck. Remember, after draining away the water, around Mexico, getting into the main body, around the tail and the back, Africa, down around the legs, then to Philippines, Australia. What the fuck else is it? If it's not a bird,
I think it's just a distorted map of the world.
but it's not a bird as well. By the way, yeah,
Yeah.
more to it, of course.
Um.
It's pareidolia. Well, you haven't used the word pareidolia yet.
Yeah. Pareidolia, I think that's how maybe I'm
Oh,
pronouncing it wrong.
pareidolia. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly
I was
is.
thinking of pedophilia. Fucking hell. I always get those two mixed up.
Or not orphan red. Omega red says, "Why is he in the bathroom though? Is other rooms too flat?"
I'm in the bathroom.
It's
my
I know
bedroom.
it's not the bathroom. It doesn't look like it, but it is. Is it kind of a small room? Maybe.
No, not really.
No.
Not really.
Okay.
Average size bedroom.
Okay. There you go, Omega Red. So you think, I just want to be clear, you think this is what the Earth is actually shaped like?
No, no.
What do you think it's actually shaped like then?
Well, we gotta elongate it. We gotta stretch it out.
That is stretched.
Yeah, you gotta sort of make. So that's a circle. All circular maps are wrong. So we gotta stretch it out. So think about a bubble, right? Think about cutting a soap bubble in half. And think about squashing down the bubble. You would get an elongation along a certain axis. This is what the elliptical nature of all the heavenly bodies, the Earth around the sun is about. That has to be incorporated some way. Everything given to us via the Earth, globe Earth, has to be incorporated to explain reality, because it's part and parcel of it.
Do you have that? Because Stan Grabowski says, please tell us where the scale is on the Gleason map. How would you use a Gleason map to find distance between Mauritius and Johannesburg?
No, I'm not. And you actually have the little pointers there. It's a very specific map, and I think this is the Gleason's map from memory. Even though it was mentioned again recently, is about locating longitudinal positions as opposed to latitudinal positions, because we have a different scale applied to the what we would call the southern hemisphere. So yeah, this is not what it's about. This is not what it's about. That's the Gleason's map is merely a clue along the pathway. Now, if you're looking for something to, well, what are you looking for? Are you looking for something to validate the globe as opposed to your own impetus, which would be always trying to disprove the globe?
I'm not trying to disprove the globe. I mean, I've tried to and failed, but no, that I was just, somebody was asking for a scale for this map, but do you have a map, and does it have a scale?
Oh well, I could write about 5 books on this. Where my journey has led me, the truth is always known. Of course, the map is out there. What do you think NASA have been doing? What do you think all the armies of Earth have been doing over the last hundreds of years, or however long history is? If they've been feeding us the lie of the spinning ball, do you think they haven't been paying attention to what really is? This is what Operation Domino or Operation Fishbowl or all of the different voyages are about, charting the layout of the land over a flat plane. In my own thinking, we live on the stump of the tree, as I mentioned earlier on. So the land itself is just what juts above the invading waters. So that's what the map is. But I don't give a fuck about that. But the point I'm making in answer to your question is the map is already out there. There's a different game in play here. We're wondering if we're moving into an unknown future. You know what I mean? I'm presenting something for peer review, but no, this is a different game in play.
Okay.
I'll give
Kyle
you loads of clues,
Silver
though. I can give you loads of clues.
Okay. Like Blues Clues? Some
Real
people were mentioning
clues.
them. Arwen, do you know
You,
Arwen? There's somebody named Arwen in the chat. I
I
don't
do
know if
know
it's
Arwen.
really.
I do know Arwen, yeah.
I don't know if it's really him. I'm guessing it's not. Arwen, if it's really you, send me a message on Skype. I'm logged into Skype right now. Just to verify. Kyle Silverfur says, listen to this guy doubting the existence of cheeses. This isn't a bad thing, of course. It's just not Gouda.
Not good enough.
So, yep.
That's good. That's good.
Andreas Eld says dodo is a deer. A female deer.
Right. Doe is the first word that millions of children earthwide, or dodo is the first word that millions of children earthwide recognize and associate with a soothing feeling. It is a soother, a little baby's a sucking instrument, a soother, a dodo. I know what you call it over in America, but yeah, it's a dodo. When we come to music, we have the central C scale on the grand piano with 88 notes, which goes from do to do. Homer Simpson, massive influence in modern culture, is famous for his doughs and his donuts. Maybe there's clues left everywhere. God contains dough. Actually, Jesus is the dodo.
I thought
Anyway.
Elvis was. I thought Paul
Yeah, but
McCartney
there's a
was.
connection. There's a connection
I
between
thought Michael
everyone.
Jackson was. How many?
Right. There's more than one dodo,
How many
but ultimately there's
dodi
only one
are there?
dodo.
Okay. So Soltex says he is a nut, but a polite, entertaining nut. So thank you for that, Pete.
Okay. Can I share my screen briefly?
Yes, I think so.
Just
I
very
think that'll work.
briefly.
Go ahead.
You asked for a map. So I remember I was trying to get you to hang on so you can see. Okay, I should be sharing. Can you see that?
I see me. You're sharing.
Okay, hang on.
Me.
Let me stop sharing there. So I have to share my whole screen.
Please make it stop. I can't look at it anymore.
You're seeing too many of yourself.
Too many of me.
How many of yourself do you think you'd be able to handle in a street brawl? So you're walking down the road, and there's X number of people who have the same black cards that you do and the same abilities you do. How many of them do you think you'd be able to handle and outsmart?
Well, if they're the same as me, then it'd be a pretty fair 1v1. And if it was 2v1, then yeah, I don't think I could handle it since the others they know everything that I know. All right, are you sharing? I'm ready to share the screen. If
okay, all right, okay. I should be. Well, this should be about to anyway. So my entire screen. No. This is you asked for a map. So it's all a game of clues. Let me just. Oh shit! I have to go back here now. 1 second.
Oh, more of me.
Okay. It says I'm sharing screen here, so you should be able to see the whole of my screen.
All right. Yes, I see.
Okay, these are just some. You can see the whole of this. These are just some of the images I've taken. Look at the number of these things, all the way through. Each and every one of those I could talk about for ages. Look at this thing here, the big dick in the sky. This is the trajectory of the moon missions, the Apollo missions, as it went around the moon, back to Earth, and back again, or the other way around. But this is what I'm presenting here. I have it here. Oh yeah. I got loads of these images here to talk about. But here's the one I wanted to ask for a flat Earth map. And remember, I asked you. There we go. Remember, I said to you to think about a bubble, a soap bubble, perfectly spherical, cut in half, and now you somehow collapse the top half of it. So you have an inner and an outer section. Well, the outer section would elongate, so you have an elliptical sort of a path. Remember, in flat Earth, or at least in my thinking, all of the skylights are reflections coming from this central core here. If you want, well, you can zoom in as much as you like. Here we go, central core. But yeah, we're living under a barrier of a certain like contour. And the point is here, well, you asked for a map, and I'll tell you where this comes from. Would you believe this comes from beneath the World Trade Center in New York, the One World Trade Center now, and this is on the floor of Chambers Street. I'm going to say Chambers of the Heart subway station beneath One World Freedom Tower. Now, if we think in terms of the layout, if we take it that all of these continental land masses are equally scaled, then the hardest puzzle becomes trying to put the pieces in the proper order with the proper context. Otherwise, it seems like the easiest jigsaw puzzle you could ever do. So this is what I'm talking about in terms of clues. So,
Okay.
okay.
So is that the map that navigators use when they navigate and produce like flight charts, and when the ships go between, South Africa and Australia?
They no, it's not. But they use a mix and match of different coordinate systems.
They
Now,
do.
when it comes to what's hang on, they do oh fucking hell, man. You see, the deception has to have some sort of basis and some backing. When a man is flying from A to B, for all intents and purposes, he's going over in a straight line over a flat surface, a stationary surface, more than flat, surface that isn't moving. He doesn't have to take these things into consideration. So all that has to be known is the ground positioning, the relative locations between any points of land sticking up above the water. But how you navigate at sea, or how you navigate generally by night, in the old days especially, you had the skylights. Now that the skylights are reflections against a fixed backdrop, all you need to do now then is figure out the rough curvature of it. And that's where 69 miles per degree comes into it. It's the curvature of the sky,
Wait,
not of the Earth's surface.
How many miles per degree?
69 miles or 60 nautical miles per degree of curvature. But that's said to be of the Earth. But the problem is, do you hold to that, McToon?
What?
You have to hold to that, right? Before you did any of your measurements and extrapolations, you understood that you were on an Earth that was curving away in all directions at 69 miles per degree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier on about the things that you bring in to your reckoning. So you haven't proved anything without those base assumptions that curvature applies to the ground. Of course, if we look at the same star and I'm 69 miles away from you, it can be clarified that there is a 1 degree difference roughly. But whether that 1 degree difference applies to the curve of the ground or the nature of the ground or what's going on in the sky, that's the rub. That's the issue, isn't it? That is really the issue. And there's nothing in a stationary flat Earth that coincides with a spinning ball Earth. Every fucking thing is different. Absolutely everything, from the basis to the foundation. Let's stop sharing.
All right. Somebody was asking about the black picture in your pictures folder.
Let me go back to it. I don't mind posting anything here. Let me share again.
I hope it's not something I have to.
You don't have to do anything, man. These are research pictures. What am I going to say? A pair of tits?
I don't know. Yeah, don't do that.
I'm not going to do that. I wonder what he's talking about. The reason I just skipped through that is I could, on every one of those pictures, I could talk for 2 hours. I really could. So I'm sharing my screen. So let me go back up to the image he might have been talking about. Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah, look, I've so many. I don't know what he's talking about. Every one of those. How about if I do this? Actually, I could do this, and you could tell me to stop. Right. First of all, David Icke, possibility. Obviously, he's an actor. Like David Icke. Yeah, obviously he's an actor, but Richard Branson. This is where talking about the Richard Branson. That's Father Michael Judge, victim number 1. Look at how photoshopped that looks. Look at how photoshopped that looks. That's Father Michael Judge, 9/11 victim number 1. Anyway.
All right, we're not getting into that. Come on.
No, but I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. I could talk for ages on all of these images, and I didn't take these for you. I took these for me. Jimmy Savile, Louis Theroux, father and son. Well, we all know the picture, the face of the war in Ukraine. See all of these things, but I'll go through it quickly. You can tell me when to shut up because I could talk about them for ages.
Time to shut up. All right, let's
See that picture there? See that picture there? Last thing I will say, that's what I'm saying. It'd be too confusing. See that picture there? Count the number of toes on Lord God. Do it.
It's a little too small.
Yeah, but bring it up in your own. Do it for your own.
Do it on your own. Do it on your own time, people.
Do it on your own toes. Anyway, I can stop sharing, but
All
I
right.
can't. If you mentioned the one, I'm trying to get to the black picture. If he sees it, tell me to stop. I'll just keep flicking through these. Tell me
Okay.
to stop.
Oh my gosh. I um I'm sure it's one of those. Oh, that was it. There's it. Back.
Okay, hang on.
Right. Right. Hold on.
That's Carl.
Let's
That's
go. Nope.
Boston bombing. Look at that.
Back.
The
No,
guy's just
go
after
back.
losing
Go
his
back.
legs.
Go back. Go back there. Nope. Keep going.
That's Canagoo.
Keep going. Keep going. I think you went past it. I
Oh,
think
that's Elsa Einstein. Look
no.
at that. Butchman in drag.
You went past it. Come on.
I went past it. Hang on. You just told me to go back.
I maybe it's too far back. I'm
I
watching.
didn't. I just went forward and back, so I have to go back further. There's Lewis Carl. Look at Lewis Carl and his fucking grasp. Look at the fucking demon-like claws on
Nobody
Alice.
can see it.
No, he didn't exist. We're all being led a certain way. But I'll go back a bit further, man.
Nobody. Uh, I'm a little hesitant because I just don't want to find because you were talking about. You
You're
were
not going
talking
to
about
find anything untoward
talking
here.
about
Nothing at all.
you were talking about Dick Earth before. I just don't want a picture of it. Just
This is not. Listen. What the heck? This is fucking hell. Bezos' rocket. That's what he saw and he objected to. Bezos' rocket. That wasn't me.
all right.
That's Bezos' rocket. There you go.
Hold on.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
a jockey's arse.
All right. All right.
Jockey's
Let's
arse fell
nobody.
down. There's a saying in Ireland, you have a neck like a jockey's arse. So I posted that to someone in Gems Panda.
Oh,
You have a neck like
okay.
this, jockey's arse. There you go. Blue fucking, what is it? Blue
Blue
mission,
Origin.
is it?
Yeah.
Blue origin. Blue
It's
orgasm.
it does have a certain look to it, I suppose. Yep.
Yeah. So don't be telling me that I'm on
Oh no,
I'm on
that
shaky
one
ground.
that doesn't take much pareidolia to see that
Well,
one.
exactly. And there's more to the story than that, man. You know that 9 months after
Okay.
27, right? So 7/20, the 20th of July, the Dick Earth or the Dick rocket went up to meet the Virgin. Branson's Virgin went up in weight, and 9 months after we have 4/20. So that's April 20th coming up this year. So, well, what's the connection here? This is all sexual sort of a ritual reenactment. This is what it's doing. It's ultimately telling us their greater story. Remember, the dodo represents division. So the earth is in a broken form. The tree has been cut. So this is about the reunification, but that's a different story. But I have no problem going through any of these images. And actually, do you know what I'll do? What I'll do, anyone is free then to what do you call it, to go back themselves. Here we go. I'll go through them just in 10 seconds, but anyone's free to go back themselves, still screen, and point out something that might be of interest to them. There's so much of interest here. There's really so much of interest here. I found a hidden puzzle on the Economist 2015 magazine cover. Here we go. I found this. So here we have this. This is a flat earth puzzle. And the hidden puzzle I found leads the solution to the dodo and Mauritius. Would you believe it? But it's 100%
Everything
there.
goes, yeah,
It's 100%
everything goes
certain.
back to that, right?
Well, that's the how would it get on the 2015 cover? But that's a different story. So I'll just go down through all of these, and you can feel free to use any of them or uh, uh, do what you want.
All right. Now, Arwen was timed out. Arwen, I'm sorry. The person who timed you out is no longer a mod.
Yeah, Arwen is decent enough for the most part.
I looked at the things that I didn't see anything that would cause
Yeah.
a need to
I bet you
be.
he doesn't believe. Tell him about the dodo poll. I bet you he at least will consider that the dodo may not have existed.
Arwen,
Great.
special question to you. Um, I'm scrolling back. I'm trying to see what it was that might have been a problem, but I can't see anything that Arwen said that I had that there's a problem with. He says shout out to Pete Shea's Aristarchus map, which I don't think you didn't really show an Aristarchus map, did you?
No, not really.
Okay. He was timeout for a good reason. I don't know what that was, Wilbur Mom. So if you could tell me, because I can't see any of the old messages that would make sense to be a timeout. So I mean, if
Just
he's
just unblock him and to
well,
tell
it's
people to
it's a
take it
five it's a
easy.
5 minute. I can't
Okay,
undo a
well,
5 minute.
let
It
him
doesn't
know
let
that
me.
he'll be back, and what the heck.
Yeah, Arwen said, Zoomy, you obviously don't watch my show, but that's all right. No problem with that. Said, yeah, I don't see a problem with that. Why is that?
Yeah.
Arwen said, yes, it's me. The most recent one is the
Share my screen again there,
says not
Michael.
Arwen
Just
said,
briefly.
Charlie Welch, not everyone, just people like you. To Charlie Welch. And so if
Yeah.
anyway. Yes,
Just share my screen briefly.
yeah,
That's
I see
maybe
it.
one of the things I wanted to get to here, which is we're visual sort of creatures. So if we can see a sort of resemblance planted before us, maybe we will sort of associate it with or connect with it to a deeper level. Remember, there's at least a potential a greater game of clues here going on. For most flat earthers, the idea of a creator, a higher power, is back in play. So yeah, no one has been sold short, and you never know how the truth might come before us. So that's just a visual on it. But there's a much greater story, of course, to the dodo bird, and ultimately it comes back to our own division, our own separation from ourselves, male from female, self from self, spiraling fashion down the spine. The external is a reflection of our internal division because we are immaterial now, coming away from the material-based dogmatism of science, and yeah, that's where our internal division is reflected externally as opposed to the other way around.
Okay. Aaron Reese, and I think that your map showed this to be otherwise, but it says, why do you think that, what does it think it says about your ideal Earth is dong shaped?
Dog shaped, dung
Dong.
shaped.
Dong, D-O-N-G.
You never heard of Dick Earth? That was an early Tim Osman offer or equivalent. That was one of my own. I had a similar sort of a scoffing effort, but it wasn't really. Earth is a
Okay.
testicle Earth. So we live on one aspect of the testicle. We have a binary system, but the other system is just separated from us. According and why does thing happen? Well, that's according to the natural laws of the penis.
What? Who thought that? Nobody. Seriously, nobody could have thought that. All right. And many Karen, who is speaking of himself here, says, tell him the gay asked him to drop off flat Earth.
Gay asked me to drop off. Which gay? There's loads of gays in this around. Right? I find that more than the average
Many,
share of
many,
all earthers
many
are
Karen
gays or
is.
trannies. I don't know what to make of it.
I think many is referring to himself there.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe. And yeah,
So.
if he's not, you should show him the black card there.
All right, so let me get
You
back
come
to
over and
this.
lick his ass. You kiss his, or you
No,
kick his
hey,
ass.
come on. So the am I right? So I saw Dora and a couple others mentioned that it was a legitimate reason to block Arwen. So I saw that Charlie Welch said something ending with F Arwen, and then Arwen responded back, putting it back on Charlie. I see that as turnabout, which would be fair play to me. Was there something else that I missed? So I guess.
Don't worry about it. It
Yeah,
seems
and
like
Charlie Welch
it's
said, I have
over
no problem with
nothing.
anything he
Just,
said. Just saying,
yeah.
Arwen is about as
Let's
threatening as
begin
a child.
again, and don't
Yeah.
ban anyone unless you need
Yeah,
to.
if it's abusive, that's it. So if I didn't see anything abusive, but that'd be fine. NANA says, Pete, so your God is incapable of creating an infinite universe with a globe Earth?
No, that's not my God. We all share the same origins. Don't forget, we're all of the same kind. I don't adhere to the God of the Bible in that sense. I don't. I don't know the nature of God, but I think it's all encompassing and absolutely anything is possible. But the truth is told via metaphor in this realm. We live in, I came up with a new word, Mactoon, and it's metaphorsics. So I was one of you, educated man, I backed science, I brought up my child in a certain way, but coming away from the material only existence, yeah, I understood we live in a metaphysical reality and the truth is already written and told to us via metaphor. So metaphor six rules here on earth. So it's not my God. It's just the nature of this reality. You have your own thoughts in it. That's the best you can do, is to clarify them. That's what I would think.
Okay. So
What
all
else
right.
can it be about, right?
I don't know. That's all
Do
right.
you think? Do you think the Masons have the truth, or do you think the upper echelons,
No, I think the
royalty?
Masons are mostly just a bunch of guys that like to go out of the house and not hang out with their wives for the night.
Okay, but what about the tiny percent who the Manly P Halls, for instance? I mean, the people who are in depth into it. I'll tell you an
Into
interesting
what?
story. Yeah, I'll tell you an interesting story. When Nathan Oakley was interviewing Tim Osman, who's Infinite Plane Society,
Yeah.
who turned up unexpectedly, but Mark Sargent, and he brought up the four
Like wait,
Masonic.
like Mark Sargent showed up in the chat, or they just were talking about him.
No, he turned up in the interview itself. There's an interview like we were doing right here. And Mark Sargent suddenly turned up, and he was weird, and he started sort of taking attention away. Because IPS had just come on the scene at the time. And if you remember back, IPS came on the scene as I am Mark Sargent. If you remember that, anyone
Yeah.
out there with good memory will remember that. But the four Masonic tracing boards is what Mark Sargent. Always remember that. He brought attention to. I don't know what he was talking about. He did mention them to some degree in his own channel, and came to hear about them afterwards. But yeah, I think that he was reminding IPS of the role that he was playing. You know what I mean? And these are the guidelines. So they didn't have personal contact, but there were two Masons, and one was just making sure that the other one operated within the certain
They,
guidelines. That's what I
they
think. So that's
they're
what I
both
mean when I
Masons.
ask, do you think that people are in possession of the truth? The upper level
Wait,
Mason.
who ones it? Who's Masons? Both Mark and
Yeah,
Nathan?
Mark and Tim Osman, OZMAN, Infinite Plane Society.
Yeah.
He openly admits to being a Mason. Tim Osman does.
Do, do do you think
Have
that
been a Mason anyway. To have been,
do you
he got
think
up to
that
the
Nathan is
32nd
not
degree.
and they are?
I don't know who is or who isn't. I know Nathan is an
Okay.
actor. I know they're all actors. Whether they're all Masons or not, I don't know. I suspect they might be,
You think
but I don't
Nathan,
know.
Mark, and Tim Osmond are all actors?
Absolutely, of course they are.
Are you an actor?
No,
Well, how do you tell who's sane and who's insane?
I trust my judgment. I've come so far in life. I trust. I
Okay.
trust my own
Because I thought
sense of.
maybe they could just like have a little thing on their hand. Just, every day you get up and you stamp insane on their hand from The Simpsons. Okay.
Okay, well, well, okay.
Mr. QTube, first name Fa, says he's pretty obsessed with heterosexually challenged people. These people are usually way in the closet. Just saying. Pete, are you in the closet?
Heter- that's a good. I never heard that way of putting it. Heterosexually challenged people. That's a new sort of term. I came up with a new term as well. Ramshackle vagina. Antonio Subarats and Patricia Steer. A big romancing, flat Earth love story. Everything was going great until the moment of coitus arrived, and
Oh
Antonio
gosh.
Subarats found out that he wasn't going as
Yeah,
far as he hoped.
let's not go with that accusation
Well, he
there.
mentioned it. You see, I'm only fucking responding
Yeah,
to.
yeah, and she made it clear in her book, which I read,
Did you?
what
What
happened.
did you?
Yes,
Yeah, go on.
yes,
What
she
did
made it
Patricia
clear.
have to say?
I it's in the book. She makes it clear
Yeah,
what he
but
did in the book.
it's pretty rotten, isn't
That
it?
the deed was completed, and she was not a willing participant. So
What? She was down the pub.
no,
She was at bingo.
no, it was at the place where they live. So, Andreas Eld is wondering, why does Australia look like the Black Sea? On this
Oh,
one?
very good. Very good. We live in a fractal Earth. You have to look for a mirror of
Oh
everything.
my gosh.
I don't want to go into detail, but I will give you a clue in a sense. Get Australia up on your map, turn it upside down, and now get North America and isolate it, and put the two side by side with a few slight variations. You will be able to tell the difference. And the thing is, remember I mentioned that we live in a tree stump, so all the land just juts above the invading waters. Imagine some of the waters being drained away. This is where the continental shelf comes into it, where there's a big fall off. So these are the true boundaries that we should have to be considering or thinking in terms when it comes to looking for mirror aspects around the Earth. So, very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Um,
Gleason as well. Gleason was an actor. He was a fake. He wasn't real. Einstein was a fake. Tesla didn't
oh my
exist.
gosh.
It's all mad, man.
But
It's all
you
mad.
say all these people didn't exist, but you still think that birds exist? Weird. um, now,
That's all logic for you, I
now,
guess.
Pete, all right. I have so far asked one of the questions that I brought.
I see birds every day. I can't remember the last time I saw Kepler.
All right. I all right. I am I have to say this was unprepared for Pete. This was unprepared for you. Not me. I'm prepared. But Flurf Bingo was unprepared. I'm amending it. I need
Go
to make
ahead,
sure
ask me anything, or go to any procedure you plan to go through. I don't mind. Put me on the spot as much as you like. Ask me any question you like about globe Earth, flat Earth.
who first measured Earth to be stationary?
Well, I think we got through that one. Oh, stationary. That's a good
Yeah, that's
one.
a different one.
Um,
And then can you send the measurements?
no, my answer to that would be no one has ever measured Earth's surface to be moving.
If that would be wrong, but has anybody measured the Earth to be stationary? Who did that?
You see, we have to operate upon this is the scientific methodology. We can only deal in the known knowns. We have to base and formulate every theory on things that we are familiar with and grounded with. We can all agree on are true. If you start delving into possibilities, then you're into philosophy and fantasy and beyond.
Yeah. So you just
So,
want to measure the rotation of the Earth, for example.
yeah, but you can't because the Earth's surface has never ever
But
moved,
but
never moved
why
for
could
anything.
you not? Why could you not? I mean, you're starting with a presupposition when you say that the Earth has never moved. You in scientifically you'd come to it saying we don't know if the Earth has moved. Let's find a device that's specifically designed to measure movement, and then see if the surface of the Earth moves. You see that?
Right. So what instrument has been developed to measure the massive speeds attributed to the Earth, not just in its rotation around itself or central axis, but in the further
Yeah. Well,
asserted rotation?
I would all you need to do to determine that the Earth is not stationary is to find that it moves at all. So the rotation of the Earth happening one time a day about has been has been measured many times. For example, let's see. Sensing Earth's rotation with a helium neon ring laser operating at 1.5 micrometers would be one of large number of different measurements of the Earth rotating on
Oh yeah, well
its
hang on. Let me
axis.
just go to my drawer and pull out my instrument there. What setting have you got it on?
It's not
Yeah.
mine. It was somebody that designed a
Yeah.
specific device to
I'm gonna put
measure
mine on
the
bullshit, right? I'm
rotation.
gonna put mine on BS. Anyway, how does
Well,
that
I
claim
mean,
to measure the motion of the Earth? What does it fire its payload at?
it's not a payload. It's a device that's designed to measure rotation.
Yeah, but how it has to measure it via some sort of transference of information and has to gather back information. So therefore, it has to extend, if it's an instrument, beyond itself to get some return reading. So how does it do that?
Well,
The only way to do it.
it is a helium neon ring laser. So it's a ring laser gyroscope,
Yeah.
right? And you've been around long enough, you know how they work. It fires, it not fires. It has a laser, sends it through a partially reflective um, um, crystal, not crystal, but Prism's the word I'm looking for. So the part of the light goes one way, part goes the other way, goes around some sort of typically it's a rectangle, and then they come back and form again, and then shine on a measurement device that measures the fringes.
So depending on which way there's a retardation in the return will be consistently associated with the attributed motion of the Earth. So if you're moving in a
Yes.
certain direction, you'll get a variation which is consistent with that direction of motion. That's
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah. So I have it on screen now. I can send it to you, but yeah, that's one. I have on my website, I think 15 or 16 of them, mc2.net/spin. There are quite a few that are using optical gyroscopes, but that's not the only way to do it. In fact, there is one where they used superfluid phase coherence to do it. So they put superfluid liquid helium in a cavity that's it's sort of a toroid shape. I think it's actually squarish, squared off on the corners. It's not a specific toroid. Let's see, that's not. I'll get it up on the screen for people to see. Is that hosted at Berkeley? There we go. There it is. It's this kind of a rectangular thing. Now, they have both a toroid and a rectangular thing. Anyway, since a superfluid liquid helium does not have any viscosity, it is able to move freely without any resistance from the wall. So if the Earth is rotating, it will induce a rotation on that. So there's another one.
If the Earth, is there any other possible causes if we
That would be
accept that?
that'd be a great thing to check, and scientifically you'd want to do that. You'd hypothesize some other cause and then test to see if there was another cause at play. Now, when you have multiple different experiments all doing same methods and different methods, and all of them giving the same results, that gives a lot more confirmation. So like I said, there's optical gyroscopes, and then this one is using liquid helium. And here's another one where they diamagnetically levitated a sphere of plastic and measured the rotation, the change in rotation of that sphere, confirming again the rotation of the Earth. You can use a MEMS gyroscope, which is a small, basically on a computer chip, designed to measure rotation. It gives you the same measurement. You can do it with, let's see, where's the one here? Oh yeah. An apparatus for measuring the speed of rotation of the Earth. 2 50 centimeter spinning discs, each with a mass of 30 kilograms, spinning at 2,400 RPM. So a physical gyroscope, basically. They measured it there. So all of these different methods all agree that the Earth is rotating at the same rate. So being that there are a whole bunch of different measurements that all agree, what would I would figure that you would have either a refutation of them or a measurement of stationariness.
Well, I do.
You
I
do.
do, and it goes
Okay.
back to earlier on when I said that when you plant yourself on a spinning ball Earth within the greater heliocentric, within the greater galactic setting, that is a completely different world or realm to when you have yourself on a stationary Earth, a flat surface as far as can be reckoned, an enclosed volume, and some sort of prevailing energy in play, which interconnects and ties with everything. This is where ether comes into it. So my one-word answer, Mactoon, would be ether, the etheric influence.
But that's not a
Give
measurement.
my
Do
one-word
you have
answer.
any, Pete, do you have any actual measurements of stationariness?
What
Because
can we know in
I
this?
gave you a bunch,
What
and
can we know in this world? The only thing you can do is assume, assume state as the beginning. assumption. It has to be the foundation of all flat earth and ball earth thinking, whether we assume the ground moves or it doesn't. The only thing we can do is begin with an assumption and try to disprove that.
Yeah, and I
Right? If
gave
you assert movement,
I gave
then
you
you
the
have to prove it categorically to
yes,
take us away
absolutely.
from the assumption that we all base as normal, the only thing we've ever experienced.
Yeah, so and I did that already.
Well, you did not do that.
I did.
Did not do that.
I gave you 14 measurements of rotation of the Earth, and
Yes, but
you
it
said
measures. No
you
one's
want.
denying there is not something in motion. Remember, the
But
stars move at 15 degrees per hour, and I say that's exactly the same rate as the ether moves
so you
along an
say,
elliptical barrier, an oval barrier
yeah,
underneath.
yeah, but you didn't actually show any measurements of it.
You know, this is not the time for measurements. All you did was read out some sort of links or some list you've made already.
But yeah, they were measurements of the rotation of the Earth.
But you're talking about not normal circumstances. What did you talk about? Liquid helium at minus
Yeah,
close enough to fucking 0 degree Kelvin or
yeah.
0 Kelvin. Come on, man. These
Why
are
is
not
that?
prevailing conditions.
Why is that
Because something
why is
acts
that a
in a
problem?
certain way.
That's how you do
Yeah.
science. You set up an
Yeah,
experiment
listen,
to do things.
if I put you under a hot shower of water, right, you react a certain way. If that shower would transfer to lava or something or molten iron, your body would react in a different way entirely. My
Okay.
point is, we have to take like with like. So all the examples you gave, if they do illustrate some sort of effect in play, what we have to hone in on is the cause itself, and attributing the cause to the Earth's motion is it's a stretch by far. It doesn't
I don't think it's
follow.
a stretch at all. It completely is what science does.
Something is in
You
motion.
take a device
Something is
that's
in motion.
designed
That's
for
not denied.
you.
That's the whole point here.
Yeah,
Something
but if
is
you
in
take a
motion.
device that's specifically designed to measure rotation, and then use it to see if the surface of the Earth is rotating, and then it says, "Hey, it's rotating." Yeah, isn't that a great confirmation of the hypothesis that the Earth is rotating, and a falsification of the hypothesis that the Earth is stationary? Then you do it again and 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 again, and all of them agree with each other, and you have exactly zero measurements of stationariness. Well, the logical and rational person would say, well, look at that. We have an awful lot of confirmation of motion and exactly zero confirmation of stationariness. I'm going with the confirmation of motion.
Yeah, and that's fine. But
Oh,
you
good.
have set yourself up certain
Well,
limits.
we're in
You act
agreement.
within a heliocentric spinning ball Earth paradigm. So there, with you, there is nothing in play between you and all of the heavenly bodies, a thin layer of atmosphere, but ultimately it's empty space. So something is in motion. As we look out, as we observe reality, something is in motion, but you put yourself automatically in the camp of being a spinning ball earther. So nothing can account for the motion that we do see except for the motion of the earth itself. That's the key here. When you go to the even direct opposing side and you say that the Earth, if the Earth's surface wasn't moving and something is still in motion, how would you account for it? How would you go? What lines would you progress along in order to establish what might be? Remember, according to your own story, Mactoon, you can put me off. You can put my camera on if you want, but
It is.
okay. According to your own
I don't.
story,
I mean, I don't see you. I don't know what. I
okay.
think
Well, I just see my own.
you control your
I
camera.
see you, but I don't. Oh, you don't see me.
I don't.
Well, yeah, put me on, man.
I can't. It's in your control.
What do I do?
I don't know. You're the one that
I
you
just
wanted
shared screen.
you wanted to use Skype. I'm not as familiar with Skype as you are.
No, no, I didn't. I don't think I did anything. I just shared screen, so maybe I didn't come back.
Yeah,
Well, no, no, I can see you clearly anyway. So anyway, um,
but
well, okay,
people.
hang on. Maybe this is it. Oh no, hang on. No, that's not it.
Yeah, I don't know how to make.
Okay,
I
okay.
mean, I
Let
could.
me just reload quickly then, because I
Okay,
like to.
there. That ended the call. Uh, Here we go. There's two of me. There's extra of me. That's three more than you need. There we go. Yeah. There we go. I think it's coming. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, how do you,
Okay, that
yeah.
should be
Oh,
better
there we
now.
go. There we go. We
Okay.
got Pete back.
Just a little problem, and I was sharing my screen there. But yeah, I don't know if you were addressing the chat there. I didn't want to come in.
Yeah, I didn't get much into it.
But no, that's okay, man. I get that. I get that. Everything seems to confirm that there is something in motion. We just got to decide what it is. What it is. But yet, will you agree you've never experienced the motion of the Earth's surface yourself?
No, I see the stars rotating at night.
Right? Very good.
Yeah.
So whatever is going on in the sky, that's a different matter. And here's what I say. I've had many great points. My mirrored water layer over an extended span killed the globe back in 2016. But
What
here, that led to a mirror
your
sky.
mirrored
That led to a
mirrored
reflective
water?
sky, a singular source, singular earthbound source to all skylights, right? But when we're talking about the moment, and I don't believe in any of the history, but intellectually we're forced into a certain coupling. The moment it was decided that the Earth was a ball, whether it was moving or not, didn't matter. The moment it was decided the Earth was a ball, based on our everyday experiences or possible measurements and appreciation of reality, at the exact same time, it was decided that all the stars were magnificent distances away. At the exact same time, they had to come into being logically, necessarily, and there's no way around it. I would encourage everyone to think about that. I really would encourage everyone to think about that because that's the only way it works. You see, you can't have near stars on a flat Earth. Sorry, you can't have near stars on a globe Earth.
There
You
are no near
can't have
stars, so
faraway
that's
stars
easy.
on a flat Earth because otherwise I wouldn't be able to travel 69 miles in your direction and notice a deviation in the star at the same time.
Yeah,
You know
there
what I mean?
is.
Yes, but because there is, that means that on a flat Earth, so we have two scenarios: flat stationary Earth, globular, moving or not Earth. On a flat Earth, you can't have faraway stars because you wouldn't notice any deviation. You understand? It would be no because it'd be so far away. Let's say Polaris is the same distance as you say it was over a flat Earth. It doesn't matter if I travel 2,000 miles in that direction. I'm just the angle is going to be so
Oh, if Polaris
confined.
was as far away as has been measured over flat Earth.
Yes, on a flat Earth, it couldn't work because no matter how far you traveled, then you wouldn't notice any declination of the angle. The distances would, you have a base of what, 2,000 miles to decode and put the pieces together in your own mind. Make a logical argument, a rational, reasonable argument
Yeah,
out of it. And be Einstein. Be
that's what
Aristarchus.
I
Yeah.
presented. I presented multiple measurements of the rotation of the Earth, and logic dictates that you would take the ones that agree with each other and
Yeah.
discard the ones where there's no measurements at all. That's logic.
Well, well, my logic, I know the Earth is moving.
You
I
know
know
the
the
Earth
Earth
is
is moving.
moving,
Yeah.
but you said that it's stationary.
Yeah, but what do you are you thinking in terms of the spinning ball Earth?
It's
So you have a
it's
picture
rotating.
painted of the
It's
blue
rotating once a
marble.
day.
That's after being erased. So Earth now is something different. It's the entirety. So something within that bubble, whatever's going on below, the bubble above, something is moving to give us all the skylights. One of the early conclusions you must come to, or at least you must consider, is when we come to flat and stationary Earth surface, stationary and flat Earth surface, the order, then a singular earthbound source to all skylights because everything seems to travel in unison on a daily, nightly basis. We notice the divide. Infinite space has been done away with. What's the most logical replacement? Waters.
Well, all
Water.
right, all right.
70% of the Earth's surface is water. So if we have a reflective surface and we have a source,
All
changes
right, Pete.
everything.
Pete. So here's the challenge. And if the stars are not far away, if they're close, and there's some sort of a several thousand miles, I suppose you might say,
Yeah.
then they would. Where'd it go? All right. I have a circle here, right? See this?
No, that's
Now,
not a circle, of course, but
well, I mean, yeah, it's you know what I mean, right? But
okay.
sideways, what shape is it when it's sideways? It's an oval. It's because it's close.
No, it's
If
exactly the same shape, man.
Yeah, but what does it appear to? What does it appear
Yes,
to
it
you
does
as? It
appear different.
appears as
Yeah.
an oval. So
Yeah.
if the stars were close, then everywhere except for the directly underneath the center of rotation, it would appear as an oval. But we don't. We see circles. There's your
But you don't
logic.
know what scale you're looking at. You don't know when you look at the stars. You think in terms of infinite distances away,
I,
almost.
I
You
I
kind
I
of more
look at the
relate
stars. I
to
see, hey, that they're not doing ovals.
how much would you bet that they're doing perfect circles, man? How much would you bet? Because they're not.
Uh,
They're not. They can't be. The stars reset on an annual basis. Remember that.
yeah,
So they can't be doing perfect
they,
circles.
they
So if
they
you have
don't
the scale
reset.
wrong,
They don't
yeah,
reset like that.
well,
That's
they
not
do reset.
that they're moving constantly, and they change position. So yes, they're not perfect circles because the stars move, and the documentation or the movement of the stars has been documented for centuries.
Well, remember I talked about in a flat my setting as well. So yeah, we have a singular earthbound source to all skylights, and where that earthbound source hits the barrier, we have Polaris against around which everything revolves. Now you're going to ask me about the southern celestial pole,
Of course, yeah.
but if we're dealing with reflections, well, then what counts is the source itself, the contour of the reflective screen, the number of screens, and also the constitution, what they're made up of, what they're separating the realm from. So all of these things come into account. But when it comes to like the sun, okay, hang on. So there's the Mandela effect. You've heard about that, Mattoon. Mandela effect among flat earthers. Lots of flat earthers will swear to this day that Polaris doesn't move. Whereas in fact,
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
they say it all the time. Yeah.
right. Well, I've for a long time I've said that. Well, no, just like all of the rest of the sky, are you saying Polaris is the exception? All the rest of the stars in the vicinity, as far as we can see in the northern hemisphere anyway, seem to move in a circle around Polaris. But that's the only thing not moving. But no, it turns out that it just does smaller circles. So it does a small circle, just as
It
the sun
doesn't
does a big circle
just do
around
smaller
the
circles
north
though.
center. Yeah.
You know, it does more than just small circles. You know, it's a bit over a half a degree away from the center. It actually changes how far it is from the center of rotation.
Over on an what is that over an annual basis? That's can't be valued over a nightly basis, can it? An annual basis.
Well,
Very good.
if your measurement precision is good enough, you can get it nightly.
Are you saying it's elliptical then?
Sorry, say you cut out. You're kind of
Are you saying the Polaris is it elliptical? It doesn't go in a
no,
circle, it goes in an ellipse.
no. It goes in a circle, but it's well, it would be a being that it's
A
currently
stretch
moving
circle.
closer to the center. It technically is doing a helix at this point.
But how can it be a center? How can it be a center only in imagination
There is
world?
a center of rotation in the
But
sky,
how can
and
you
we can
point
see
it
that.
out? How can there be? How can you point it out when Polaris is your central point of reference? What are you going
It's
to say
not.
to the
It,
left of that?
it's not the center of rotation. It's more than half a degree away from the center of rotation.
Yes, but not a half a degree all the way around that center, right? So you're saying that it varies throughout the night. So
No,
it's
I'm
more
not
an
saying
elliptic,
that.
a
I'm not.
squash circle in some way,
I'm not
or
saying that.
exaggerated
No,
circle.
I am not saying that. I'm saying
Oh,
that as of 2017, Polaris was at 89 degrees 20.3 minutes. So about
from
two
the
thirds
uh,
of a degree, that was 5 years ago, about 2/3 of a degree away from center. And it's closer to the center of rotation now. So technically, that means it's doing a helix around the,
very good. I like that. I
yeah,
like that
because
because everything is in motion. You
but
see.
it's a very small amount of motion between, because in 1850, it was 88.5 degrees away. So it's changed over time. And so that's the
No,
documentation as of 1850 from the Nautical Almanac.
no, no, no. I don't believe that. No, because
Well, then show your evidence.
well, one piece of evidence, Shakespeare. Have you ever read any works of Shakespeare? He played
Go ahead.
Julius Caesar, which is based on historical fact. One of the particular sayings in within the book is, "I am as constant as a northern star that shines
Okay,
unerring in the firmament."
but do you
That's a
have any
quote
measurements
attributed to
though?
Julius Caesar. Now, Shakespeare lived in 1540, but if and I don't believe any of these characters existed, but if he's attributing something to an accepted historical figure, which is the fixity of Polaris, well, then it
Okay,
was
so
fixed
so no
in Julius Caesar's
no
day. Why
so no
wouldn't it have
evidence
been?
then.
Because you would say back then that couldn't have been the center of
Well,
attention.
how many degrees away from center did Shakespeare say it was?
No, you said it was in the sense that, and back in the 1880s, did you say it was 88
Eight,
degrees? Or
1850, it was 88.5 degrees from the
so
center of
what would it have
rotation.
been back in 2000? Or so 2000 years ago, in the
I
year
don't
zero?
I don't know.
I'm thinking it would have been back in the 70s somewhat. So it definitely wouldn't be in the center point of
Correct.
rotation. But
Yes.
yet, Shakespeare has Julius Caesar making this
But
quote.
no. But
That's
Shakespeare didn't have any source data for when Caesar was alive. Shakespeare only had the source data for when he was alive, and he's not a scientist, he's an author. So he was only talking about what he knew. So
yeah,
he
but
did not say that there was a specific measurement away from the center,
sure.
and he wasn't specifically referring to the time when Julius Caesar was around because he didn't know, unless you have some
Yeah.
footnotes that Shakespeare said, I looked up the specific measurement of Polaris's position so that my work of fiction could be correct, historically correct, because there are definitely historical inaccuracies in Shakespeare's work. For example, in Caesar talks about chimneys. There's no chimneys in Caesar's time.
Well, I mean, my whole point here was, I know it's a flimsy point. It's not
Exactly.
flimsy in a certain sense, but it'll do for me, man. Shakespeare never existed, by the way, in that tune as well. But the fact that you don't be the
It's funny.
drama as if
Ah,
it's
you're
the first
funny,
time
man. I
you're
love it.
hearing
I love
this.
it.
I got more to say about that. The same hands that wrote the works of Shakespeare wrote the Bible, according to my reckon, and wrote fucking Alice in Wonderland, Alice Through Looking Glass as well. It's all a hidden hand, right? So we're in the game of life here. So the whole scene is set. But anyway, not to bog down in that, the thought is that Shakespeare character didn't exist. I'm admitting that. But within one of his prevalent character speeches, reference is made to the fixity of the North Star 2,000 years ago. So Shakespeare's time, it would have certainly been central, Polaris, and as it is in our time right now, even though I hold that they don't exist. So, but that's just a flimsy argument in that sense, but something that tells me that Polaris has always been viewed, or at least you must go along more than I must, that it's always been viewed as some sort of central pivotal point.
I'm not all that big on Shakespeare. I'm not a thespian. Um, but I mean, I do enjoy going
You
to
sort of
live
broke up
theater.
there. Did you say you're not a lesbian? I never accused you of that,
No,
man. What's wrong with you?
I'm not a thespian. Thespian.
Listen,
Um,
this day and age,
I mean,
you
I
could be
do
anything you
enjoy the
like.
works of the bard.
Well,
All right.
that's, well, yeah.
Pronon 1990 says, for you, Pete, you only filled with hate, Pete. Ooh, why do you hate everyone, Pete? You destroyed your family and your own, and you owe
I don't
Brenda an
know.
apology.
Oh, Brenda. Sure, I love Brenda.
But you owe her an apology, says Pronon.
Since when? Is
I don't
Brenda
know.
pronoun? Are you pronoun, Brenda? Oh, I can see that's probably Brenda, isn't it? Because pronoun, Brenda is not a he or she.
No, it's
Well,
Pronon.
Brenda,
Pronon
I
1990 is
apologize.
not Brenda, as far as I know.
Well, okay. Well, I did apologize to Brenda, and I told Brenda I loved him or her, whatever.
Okay. Mr. QTube first name fast says a 15 degree per hour drift. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, well,
There you
that
go.
goes back to Bob's ring laser gyroscope, doesn't it?
Exactly. Good. I mean, he's not a good scientist. We all know that. But he did confirm a 15 degree per hour drift. So we do appreciate that that little thing there. I love that he tries to deny it, but
Well, if you put an instrument into a flowing body of water and you set off some sort of reaction in one direction, and your return relied on a sort of resistance to a direction of flow, you would surely expect to get different returns if it was set off in the direction of the flow as opposed to in the opposite direction. And this is the ultimate point here, that there are other factors potentially in play which you already preclude by the very nature that you've decided that you live in a spinning ball Earth, and all that stands between you and infinite space is a thin layer of atmosphere.
That's what you say. All right. Caucasians and say Lael says history is not real, therefore Pete did not exist yesterday because yesterday was history. Can't argue with that, Pete.
Well, all we're left with now is our memories, MacToon. What else can we swear by?
O'Toole.
Something crashes through, a plane crashes through your house there.
Seamus O'Toole.
Seamus O'Toole. Seamus. Patio doors.
I mean, you could go with last Thursdayism, couldn't you? Caucasian Sensation says, "Hey, Flurf, you don't know half the things you think you know. The craziness you peddle benefits no one. Think about that a little bit, would you?"
That's not true.
It's not true.
No. Because if he's wrong, if you're wrong, MacToon, you won't know where I begin to be right. How will you? How will you?
Yeah, I mean, but I have, measurements. All right.
That's why you might tell your wife, but
Yeah. So Peachy Tony says, we don't preclude anything. If Pete thinks there's some other mechanism at play in an experiment or observation, it's up to him to demonstrate it.
No, it's not. Why would it be?
100% it is. In science, if you disagree with something and you think that there's something wrong with the experiment, it's up to you to say to find what was wrong with it and demonstrate it. If you just say, "Nah, I don't like it," that does nothing. That's not science. The invitation is open to you, Pete, to actually do the work and actually find out the error. And if there's a different experiment that should be done, for example, if you think that something else is causing the rotation of a physical gyroscope spinning, a physical spinning disc, if you think something other than the rotation of Earth is at play, then write a hypothesis what it is, and then go see if you can test that to see if that is the cause, and then you can actually draw into question whether or not the results of that experiment was correct.
Yeah, but do what then? What will I do then? Come back here, do it on my own channel, present it to. Well, I'm already sure about the truth and the nature of our reality is known.
Inviting you to do that.
It's not about science. In this arena, MacToon, we realize that our whole lives are a lie. Right? So no matter what, if you go against the grain, you won't get published. That's all. Simple as that.
Not at all.
We know that story.
Not at all. That's not true at all.
Man, listen.
You don't know about how dark matter.
How many top people do you talk? How many top people? Hang on, please. How many top people who are fucking? I think Neil deGrasse Tyson was fucking in the 5 millions. Didn't he agree to a debate with Eric Dubay, but it fell through?
I've never seen that agreement that is claimed.
Anyway, but how many top people are actually debating flat Earth? Of course, the whole topic is stronger now than it ever was. So where are the top people talking about it? The problem is with ball earthers, you can never give an inch because then you have to give a million miles.
I'm top people. Come on.
Well,
can't I be top people?
I like you, man. I like your open sort of attitude, and I like the way you sort of at least make an effort or attempt to answer questions. But it's just an introductory meeting as well, and there'll be lots of things to cover. But well, the point is, how many top people, in terms of influence, do you get to hear talking about the topic? Not very many, right? Joe Rogan and Eddie Bravo, a good example where you do hear mocking and ridicule, of course, coming from the mainstream, but at least you do hear it openly discussed. But elsewhere, you don't get to hear it anywhere. Get little tidbits here and there, but it's not as if it's gone away. Haven't you done a whole series of shows? Aren't people? Apparently, Simon Dan is he after making fucking hundreds of thousands from all of this? Tell the truth.
I have no idea how much he makes.
I think you're better than Simon Dan in a sense. But if you wanted to make more money, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
PhD Tony has given you an offer, Pete.
What's that?
Yeah, he is a published, peer-reviewed author. All right. Peachy Tony says, if Pete has evidence, I, talking about himself, will submit it under my name. There you go. If you have actual evidence, he will do it under his name.
Well, I have destroyed the globe in so many ways. I actually destroyed the universe. Would you believe?
I would not.
Well, let me say this to PG. What'd you say? PG tips, Tony. PG
PhD.
Tony.
PhD.
PhD Tony. Yeah. My back in 2016, my mirrored water layer over an extended span killed the globe, convex and concave.
How did you do that?
Well, that's a claim of mine, and I did that, but all
It's a
inferior
claim.
mirages. So when you're looking at, okay, you asked me, I'll answer you briefly. When you're looking at a ship over the horizon, seemingly floating on air, but you see an inferior mirage or a seeming reflection stretched out, actually looking at a reflection along the water, but it appears to be through the air because the water is compressed, the distance is compressed so much, right, that water reverts back to its basic forms, reflective form. That's what we see it as, we perceive it as. So that kills the ships going over the horizon that just disappear into this mirrored water layer. Not always, but in lots of cases they do. Also, it explains sunrise and sunsets, star rise, star sets, etc. That was just one of my finds. That killed the globe Earth and that killed the concave Earth. Here's how I killed the sky. My Milky Way on the moon find back in 2017 killed all astrophysics stone dead because it proved that we're dealing with a reflective sky, a mirror sky. So yeah, there are two claims, Tony, PhD Tony, but there's no going anywhere with those things, Tony. I think I've done enough, Tony, because everything that we do on the internet, everything is recorded. Everything is recorded, so all information is recorded. And if there's like a game in play, a treasure hunt in play, then people will be observing and knowing who's putting the pieces together, and will make what they will.
So seeing an imagined Milky Way on the moon does not actually counter, anything.
Well, I'm not sure if you do you know my avatar? It's not here, a dodo avatar here, but otherwise I have a picture of a crater on the moon, which is crater Aristarchus. This is another Aristarchus. So, yes, when we come to flat Earth, then we look at the moon and the sun, we have an equation, well, they're both the same size, no more cosmic coincidences. But when we revert to the moon, we're told, according to the official story, that crater Aristarchus is the most mysterious crater on the moon, the most mysterious object in our universe. So that brings a special attention to crater Aristarchus again.
Wait, hold on. Who says that's the most mysterious?
Yeah, hang on. Let me post you the image to show you. Because you won't find well, actually, hang on, let me post you a link. You'll be able to find it there. Yeah.
Okay.
No, hang on. You know I'm a man because I'm shit at multitasking. Mark Sargent was great at multitasking. I suspect.
I can't disagree with you there.
Well, I'm shit at multitasking anyway. Anyway, here's the link. Let me just post it in chat. It's very, very interesting, actually, because if you look at the dates chosen as well. So I posted a link in just a private chat here. Aristarchus up close and personal. That's very revealing in itself. But the NASA image was taken on Christmas Day, would you believe?
So
Xmas Day, 25th of December.
So it's mysterious.
Oh, it's most mysterious. John Lear described it as
the most mysterious.
Nuclear furnace. No, he didn't deem it mysterious. Aristarchus is known to be a very mysterious crater.
Yeah, but who said it was the most mysterious thing in the universe?
Well, fucking hell, man! Ask me for links, and I came by 5 years ago.
Well, I don't know. It's Evernote is free. I use Evernote.
Yeah, but actually, I have my hard drive there, so they tried to read it.
That's why I use Evernote, because it's not my hard drive.
I didn't know then what I know now. Actually, I do know now. but I didn't know then.
if I
But I
knew
still
back,
don't back up what I have.
yeah, if I knew back then what I know now, I'd be the king of the ladies. Name that band, people. First one to name that gets my thumbs up.
Thumbs up where?
I'll give them this. They'll get this right here. Whoever
Yeah.
can
You
quote
better
the
show them your
name
black
of the
card.
band that I just
You
quoted.
better show them your black card before you give them
All
the
right.
thumbs
So
up.
I'm looking at this. It does say it's mysterious, but it doesn't say it's the most mysterious.
Wow.
So
It's the most
there you
mysterious crater on the moon, the most mysterious object in our universe.
Well, you said the most, but
Yeah.
here it says the Aristarchus Plateau is one of the most geologically diverse places on the moon, a mysterious raised flat plateau. A giant rifle, a giant rille carved by enormous outpourings of lava, fields of explosive volcanic ash, and all surrounded by a massive flood basalts, Robinson wrote. So I don't know why you'd bring that up, because it kind of doesn't help you. But all right, somebody got the right answer. Hold on a second. Stashua. You got two of them. Extreme is the name of the band.
Okay.
Did you have to look it up? That's my question. Or did you know? Did you know? GMAC got it too. Did you know?
So, Mattoon, here's the kicker. Not the kicker, I moved beyond that. So, the Milky Way on the moon, an amazing find itself. But ultimately, my claim was, and would you believe I had €100,000 bet out on this a few years ago in Discord? This is deadly serious.
I would not believe it for a second, because if it wasn't in escrow, I wouldn't buy it at all.
Bet was out there. My brother came in and vouched for it, but the bet wasn't taken up, or it wasn't. It wasn't. I'll just tell you the nature of the bet was that all craters on the moon are one crater. But fundamentally, we're looking at a kaleidoscopic expression of one crater, like a hall of mirrors. Now,
and who was the independent
the
judging
bet was
panel on that?
serious. There was intent behind the bet. My brother backed the bet, but it was never taken up, and I knew it would never be taken up.
Well, I'll take it up.
Only for the very reason that if you were to take it seriously, well, hang on. Only if you were to take it seriously, that of course you would do your background check, you would do your background inquiry, and I knew that all you could do is find the same thing that I found. We're dealing with a kaleidoscopic mirror reflection of something. The sun and the moon are the same size because one is a direct reflection of the other. But when it comes to what the sun actually is, that's where Polaris comes into it. Polaris is the source reflection of Aristarchus, which is the root. You can think of the tree. We're living on the stump of the tree. The tree is intact the other side, though, so the root is sticking through. And it's that generates the barrier. It's that turns around. And should we revert back to olden times when the tree this side was intact, then everything would be moving, but we've been cut off. So in that sense, the earth is moving, but we are stationary, even though we're part of the earth as well. So that's just a general sort of picture. When we look at the sky, when we look at the moon, there's a giant hollow at the north center. We're looking at flat reflections against the sky. So fundamentally, not to wreck your brain too much, Polaris is the central pivot of all of the skylights. Its primary reflection is the sun, right? And then the sun's primary reflection is the moon. And then we have all the tertiary, etc. reflections to give us the planets and all the rest of the heliocentric model.
So could you put that bet back up? Write down the clear, objectively measurable criteria. Make sure the money's in escrow, and then describe the independent arbitration panel. And let's go. I'm ready.
Well, no, I can't.
Oh, let down. Waikikamoo Cow 855 says, "Hey Pete, can you please explain to me in detail how day and night work on a flat Earth?" Boop.
Yes, they. So, remember, think about this. This is what we do at Christmas time. We get the cut tree, we put it on the X. So, remember, everything's in a natural state, unnatural state. They have a plate in the center, the tree, both sides. The tree is cut this side, the root juts through from the other side. There was a prior connection between the two. They move in tandem, but now the cut is in place. So we have the root sticking through, giant hollow at the center, old trees rot from the center out. We have an inundation, and we have the motion in three manners. We have round and round, which gives us all of the daily and nightly skylights. We have in and out, which gives us the moon phases on an annual basis, and we have up and down, spring and fall, right? So spring upwards and fall downwards, which gives us the annual seasons and the passages of the sun as it goes in elliptical spiraling fashion inwards and outwards. What's most predominant or pertinent is the contour of the reflecting barriers. And to the best of my thinking, we have two barriers. The outer barrier we're under begins low at the north, begins highest at the equator and lowest at the southern peripherals in a elliptical fashion. And then we have an outer barrier which is generated from the center, Polaris being the highest expression. So if you think about it like a circus top tent, like an umbrella in a sense with the spines coming in. So we live in a dual barrier system. So yeah, that's it. The skylights, yeah, moving once a day.
That's an A. And there you go. Waikiki a detailed explanation of how day and night work on flat Earth.
Yeah, we have a motion in circular motion. We have a barrier above which acts like a shade. So the sun is like a spotlight, a spot point reflection. You can put it like that. So the barrier throws the energy. Light is not what you think as well. Light and heat, as we experience them from the sun, are effects, not within the source itself. The source is an energy frequency. So we experience the light and heat because the energy passes through like a laser beam in a vacuum going into a piece of atmosphere. It will react with the particulate. We'll experience it as visible light and heat. It's the same thing with our own sun.
Okay. That's better than Vogon poetry. Dave Cernick
Only slightly though.
says, ask Pete if he thinks Shakespeare is Stephen King.
Part of the same. The hidden hand is always in play.
Are they both Aristarchus?
Leonardo da Vinci, the hidden hand are in play now more than ever. Leonardo da Vinci didn't exist. Michelangelo didn't exist. It's a fabricated reality. I know it fucks with your brain, but
nothing existed yesterday. Captain Cactus says, I'm glad I avoided the mushrooms in Pete's garden.
There's no mushrooms, man. All you got to do is come away from the spinning ball Earth and realize that that's not the only thing.
But Pete, there's an awful lot of flat earthers that look at you and go, hold on a second. That guy's a little wacky.
I don't care. We all heard, you mentioned earlier on, do I think that Earth is a tree stump? Yes, I do.
Okay.
Or you said mountains, more specifically mountains, etc. Some mountains are, some aren't. But yeah, I do think the whole of the Earth is a tree stump. We're immaterial beings having a material existence and an experience in division, most particularly.
Material world, material girl.
Hang on, bud. Mattoon, you were divided from your female counterpart. And when the reconnection came, or what was once divided, your beautiful, wonderful children came of it. That was the outcome. So yeah, this is the nature of this experience. But we predate our lives here.
Do you
we
think
we live on forever.
Do you think that moonlight is cooling?
Yes, it is in a relative sense, because the moon is a reflection, you see, and what you have is a cold barrier. You've got cold waters beyond. Imagine having a torch, right, and shining it against a hot reflective surface, and the return beam you would get. Now imagine cooling that surface down to close to zero, whatever, diminished temperature, and shining the same torchlight, the same power off of it, and getting the return. One return would vary, right, according to the different surfaces that they would meet. So the moon is ultimately a reflection off of the cold barrier. The sun is more an explosion against the barrier. The sun is like the point of a magnifying glass where it's hitting the paper, burning up the ant or something. So you understand, the moon is a reflection of that.
So if I were to get a magnifying glass and go out on a full moon and then like shine it on an ant, would it freeze it and I'd have an ant sickle? Right? I'd have to be. Could I freeze water with it?
Start a trend, right? Big on TikTok. It's a bit cruel, though. I mean, come on, ants' lives matter too.
Well, yeah, but I think if he thought he'd be fine, or she.
Well, we know that imagine we did it on a full moon, man. We know that the full moon turns men into werewolves. What would it turn that ant into?
Wait,
With that
that
focused
hold
energy.
on, Pete. I just in case that's fiction.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not. No, it isn't. The lunar is associated with the female. Did you ever wonder, Mattoon, why they called the moon missions the Apollo missions? When the moon and the sun are polar opposites, and Apollo, according to Greek mythology, relates to the sun. It's a sun god. There's a reason for it.
Okay.
There is whatever.
Stringfellow Hawk says, "Wow, he's spouting so much fiction. Even Shakespeare wouldn't be impressed." Or not Shakespeare, Stephen King. I mean, uh, Tesla. I mean, Einstein. I mean, Michael Jackson.
I decoded Einstein. Einstein is one stone, one ST1. Do you know what it means to take the sword from the stone? It means to take the S word from the S tone. The philosopher's stone is TH. So to take the S word from the S tone, the is from the TH or the THIS, which spells this. Would you believe this, Matt?
No.
Michael Jackson, we already agreed that he faked his death, but do you know the name of the concert that he left the world with, which he never came to fruition? Do you know the name of? That's a clue. That's a question for your audience there. Without looking it up, does anyone remember the name of the concert or the tour that Michael Jackson had arranged to play before his untimely death?
I don't know, but look, I have a guest. Oh, hold on. Let's get this.
Look at that.
This is Hercules. We are
Hercules.
We're dog sitting this weekend.
Nice one.
Hercules is here.
You don't mind dogging your dogs?
It's not even my dog. It's my son's co-worker's dog.
Hello, Hercules. Hello, bud.
So there you go. Super friendly, very fun dog.
You never know. Yeah, excellent. He looks lovely. What breed is that, man?
Half poodle, half something giant.
Yes, yeah, I was going to say.
That dog is massive.
What half poodle is it?
But fortunately, it does not shed because it's half poodle. Okay.
Well, every dog has to shed, man. What do you mean?
Shed. SHED.
Oh, okay.
Shed.
Yes. Just wondering. Fucking hell.
Yeah. I mean, haven't you heard the song "I Don't Even Cuss, Bro"? Have you heard that song?
No, is that Megadeth or something?
No, it's Austin Whitsitt. Austin Whitsitt. So, all right. Serial 510 says this guy's out of his tiny drug adult mind. Do you do any? I mean, you said you don't do shrooms. Do you do other stuff?
No. I told you I was smoking a bit of weed tonight, but outside of weed and a few cans, I've taken all manner of drugs, cocaine, taken ecstasy. Not now, but in the past. But nothing major. It's just nothing.
Sounds major.
No, don't be saying it sounds major, man. I mean,
what's major?
Half the places on heroin.
If cocaine isn't major, what is major?
What, heroin, fucking crack cocaine? Look at Breaking Bad. Look at what that did to America. Breaking Bad.
All I know is Malcolm in the Middle. I will never allow
Malcolm's
dad to be anything other than Malcolm's dad. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So Tiny Captain is a sailor.
Okay, go on.
He actually does stuff on the oceans, and he has to plot routes, and he knows how to use a sextant and globe-based geometry to get his position. So how does he do his job if his job relies on the Earth being a globe?
Well, it doesn't, but it does rely on something being contoured. So the great switcheroo in place, let me tell you, Magtu, is that they contoured the ground and they made the sky flat. You will say, no, they didn't make the sky flat. They created a celestial sphere.
They're all spherical. Yes.
No, it cannot be a celestial sphere. But that's my point. They did the great switcheroo. They contoured the ground and they made the sky flat. And I can tell you exactly why. and you'd have to agree with me. But in reality, it's the Earth that's flat, and it's the sky that's contoured. What's the contour of it? Yes, well, as you move along 69 miles along a curve, you will get a 1 degree deviation. Now, the only factor that needs to be considered is the height of this reflective barrier, and yeah, it's about 60 miles, Kármán line distance. That's at its highest point along the equatorial area.
But we
We're
can
dealing with
triangulate.
reflection.
You could just triangulate and
No,
presume that the Earth is flat, and you get much more than
no, you
70
can't
miles.
triangulate reflections. You're dealing with observer-dependent reflection. That's why when I go down to the beach and you go down to the beach at the same time, you're standing 20 feet away from me, and someone else is all the way along the beach, and we all take a picture of what we see at the end. We'll only see a line coming to our feet along the water from the reflection of the sun.
But it's
And you swear you
contoured.
can't see anything for anyone else's feet, but everyone will swear to the same thing. So we're dealing with observer-dependent reflections through the eye of the beholder. So you can't triangulate it in that sense because they're not solidity. Trigonometry implies solid body consideration.
No, not at all. Captain Cactus says I had a motion earlier, very similar to his logic. He might have meant movement instead of motion.
Maybe. I can't remember exactly what that was about.
Yeah. Yep.
I was going to say Captain Cactus couldn't stick it up his arse, but
Captain
that wasn't.
Cactus. Yeah, I wouldn't want that up there. Luke Filewalker says his rabbit hole is so deep. He surely met Alice and Smoking Caterpillar at least twice.
Luke Firewalker. Let me say to you, Luke Skywalker is the son, bud.
Filewalker, yeah.
I know that, but
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker, which is a reference to, is actually the son. This is Star Wars. Well, there was a star in the wars, which is Aristarchus, the tree of life being cut. That's the biggest war you could ever have, right? Oh, remember, star is in the very center of RI Starcus.
Wow.
Actually, here's an interesting one. So Mark Sargent, Patricia Steer, Antonio Subrat, you read Patricia's book, all characters, actors in play. Mark Sargent reference to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which is a walkthrough fundamentally of Alice in Wonderland. Patricia Steer's fiance, Subrat's backwards is Star I Be Us. So if he's an actor and is a clue giver, RI star CH us. It's pretty close, right? It's pretty close. He wrote the Book of the Sun, so he's a pivotal character, and Aristarchus is central to everything.
What flat earthers that are prominent are not actors?
BJ, I'm not an actor. Outside of that,
I'm voting for you
all the
being
main
an
people
actor.
are put in place, man. All the main, just like all the main people on your side are put in place as well.
You are the only true Scotsman.
Well,
or Irishman.
I have no desire to be a Scotsman.
Okay.
King of Era. That's what makes
question.
me King of Era, by the way. I took the sword from the stone. Pete, the answer is Michael Jackson left us with the This Is It tour. And remember I said to take the sword from the stone is to take the S word, which is from the S tone, which is TH. So this is it. He was telling us the answer before he left, but he didn't really leave, right?
Okay. Steve6464 says, Pete, have you ever thought of writing fantasy or sci-fi?
I could write about 5 books and beyond and all
Pete,
of this, for sure.
I think you could actually write some fantastic sci-fi or fantasy books.
I can do lots of things.
I'd give it a listen. All right, and JM Labor is wondering, hey, Pete, what do you think about Barack Obama and Will Smith being the same person?
What's that? That's not, come on.
What do you think about Barack and Will Smith being the same person?
That's brilliant, man. I mean, that's a brilliant. Now, I've said lots of things. You might Google them, but you won't find them anywhere. One is my solution to why is a raven desk like a writing? Why is a raven like a writing desk? Another one is the ultimate answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. But same thing with Barack Obama. You won't find anywhere the suggestion that you'll find a suggestion that Barack Obama played the role of Osama bin Laden. In many places. I did a thread myself about 10 years ago on that, but too obvious. We were handed this on a plate. Is there an actor we all knew playing the part? Yes, Will Smith. Will Smith revealed And we were always meant to figure this as well. I've come to realize that we were always meant to figure this and sort of move on. These are just players on the stage at this particular time, but the stage goes back fucking
But
to,
why?
well, time
Why would you?
immemorial.
But why is there? I don't see why there would be any reason for somebody to pretend to be somebody else that are both famous. I don't get that.
Well, well, it's a game of life, man. It's a game of life, and I move beyond it. I talk
But why?
about
Why couldn't?
Aristarchus.
Why couldn't
Go on.
Obama just be Obama and Will just be Will? Why does it have to be one playing? How does that do anything?
Yeah, how do you think things work the way you think they work, McToon? Why would
I
you do
just
if you
don't
found
think
that
that they're
everything
the
was
same
wrong?
person. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
not a
you got
very
it
unusual
from.
thing.
Yeah, but I mean, what are you going to say? You got to come beyond every conspiracy then and say, well, why couldn't it just do it the way that they listed it in the official
Exactly.
story?
Yeah, why not? Why
You know,
wouldn't they
because
just
that's
do
not the
that?
nature of all of this. Everything
So you
connects. I'm
say.
sure you.
So
Yeah,
you
I'm sure.
say.
Well, I'm sure you've heard of IPS. He does a live fucking show. You should be taking in the opposition, what they're doing. He has a great bit of influence, and he has plenty of donations as well.
Yeah,
He makes.
there's too
I'm
many
not gonna
you
say he makes a
goofballs.
living.
There's too many
I'm
you
not gonna say he makes
goofballs
a living
to
out of it.
track them all.
Yeah, but man, sorry, that's my own computer. Okay, that should be better.
Okay.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that okay, the why questions come later. You have to understand that it may be the case first of all. So once you go along your own personal path and establish or you're happy that these things are the case, but then you got to get to the greater reasoning behind it. And the way I say it, it's like it doesn't take any genius to spot the fakery that NASA are dishing out. You know what I mean? But to spot it so easily, you have to understand then, well, there's more to the story. There's more. I'm dealing with cleverer minds
Now,
than me here. So whatever is the nature of
yeah.
whatever this
Yeah,
is, there's
there
more
are a
to
few
it.
of them around. Pete, now don't tell anybody. I am
I didn't doubt
actually
that there are cleverer minds than me around, Bob,
I'm
for sure.
actually Vanilla Ice. But don't say anything. Just between you and me, I'm Vanilla Ice. So, Rocky Bixby says, so who fell the world tree if we're just a stump? A Galactus archetype Paul Bunyan?
uh,
Who felled
it's not
the
about who
tree?
felt it. If you can blame anyone, it's God.
Oh,
God
come
felt
on.
it.
I'm from Minnesota. Paul Bunyan's a big name here. Can we give it
Well,
to Paul Bunyan?
well, I guess you can give it to him,
Let's.
you can give it to him all you like, but if he gives it to you, you're
I'm gonna
truly fun.
I'm gonna go to Bemidji and get a picture of myself with Paul Bunyan just because of that. You ever been to Bemidji?
No,
Has
no, I
anybody in the
haven't.
chat ever been to Bemidji? Hey, all right. Um, I'm writing, Pete. You might want to do
So
this.
you, so hang on, you've seen Paul Bunyan's Bemidji. Was that what you said?
Just a statue, and Bemidji's a town in northern Minnesota.
Oh, it's not his private part. Okay, okay,
Yeah, it's just a town. I don't know why you gotta
okay.
go there, Pete. Man, is there something? Are you hiding
I don't
something?
know though. I just go straight there when I think about
Oh,
Paul Bunyan, the
why do
huge
you gotta
tall
go
man.
straight there, man? I
Imagine,
mean,
imagine the huge tall Paul Bunyan comes walking into your
some
town.
people
The
might.
first thing you're going to notice is his dong. You're going
Not
to be
me,
going, hang
but
on.
some people might accuse you of having. Anyway, um, um, I am writing
First
a.
question all the women would ask anyway. How big is
Okay,
Paul's dong
yeah.
really?
I'm writing a challenge, like the sextant challenge that nobody can do. Um, for a cold moonlight, to have people same. It'll be generally the same terms to measure the temperature of something that's in cold moonlight and something that's not in cold moonlight, and see if there's a temperature difference. I am going to do this experiment myself as well once I get it written. So the next upcoming full moon is mid-April. I might do
Oh,
it then. So if anybody's interested in joining
hmm.
me, it would be probably like near the US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Let me know. Otherwise,
I
some
had
future full moon.
Now that you mention it, I had a great idea regarding cold moonlight or otherwise. I'll have to remind myself now. But it fundamentally had to do with the dew resting on the ground in and around a tree stump. So just to the left of the tree stump and in the shadow of the tree stump, and how quickly the dew evaporates, or how quickly the dew, what rate the dew remains on the ground, or whatever. So that's an interesting thought. I'm thrown back to a few years. I've had lots of interesting thoughts. But yeah, I mean, go figure it. But the only thing is, light is not what you think, though. And you have to bear in mind that light is an effect. I said this many times, MacToon. The higher we rise up, the atmosphere is like a screen. We actually see through the water in the screen or in
There's
the intervening
there's really
space,
not that
right?
much
When
water
the
in the
sun goes
yeah.
away, the water drops down and rests as dew on the ground, and the light goes away. The sun comes back, the dew evaporates, suddenly we get to see. So I've often said this though, as we rise up through the atmosphere, the moon will shrink to a black dot. It's a reflection. We're looking at it as it's transmitted through the screen of the atmosphere, particularly the water. And that's all key. That is pertinent.
Okay. Mr. United for the Children, Pete. Was Regis Philbin actually Ronald Reagan?
Oh, I don't know about that. I haven't heard about that.
Let's go for
Um,
it. It's
Ronald
just
Reagan was an actor, of course.
just
His
as
fake
likely as everything
assassination
else.
attempt was exactly that, fake. They're all actors on the stage, but I don't know who. I wouldn't put anything past anyone. Honestly, honestly, I
Mm,
wouldn't.
okay.
The reason why they gave us Will Smith as the Fresh Prince, that's what I'm going to say earlier on. Aristarchus is a central crater on the moon. To its left, we have
It's not the
crater
center.
Herodotus. To its right, we have crater Prince. Will Smith arrived on the scene as a Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So, yeah, they give us the early sort of lovable character, and then that's the only way. See, deep down, we know the truth of everything, but that's the only way we'll sort of swallow the deception
But
here. So,
Pete,
yeah.
The Aristarchus crater isn't anywhere near the center as we see it.
No, no, Aristarchus is not. No, no, that's no. What I'm saying is Aristarchus is at the center of the trio. So if you look where Aristarchus is, you have Aristarchus. To its left, you have Herodotus, which is actually the black sun. It's the black star, and then it's Herodotus. It's the Holy Spirit. So if Aristarchus is the father, Herodotus is the Holy Ghost, and to the right we have Crater Prince, which is obviously the son, the
The
prince
fresh
being the
one.
son of the
Yeah.
father. So that's the greater
Okay.
connection with Will Smith. So once we saw beyond the literal Will Smith playing the role of Barack Obama and Osama bin Laden, we don't just throw it out and laugh heartily saying you expose it. No, there's a greater story entwined within that story itself.
Okay. George
That's
Natchik
the
is in
idea.
the chat. He says hi.
Hey George, I haven't heard. I was just thinking about George the other day. He hasn't been on the scene for ages. So
He said
yeah, hello George.
he's been busy with his house. Dave Rogers
Hello
says
George.
it doesn't need to do anything. It's just that it's a thing.
Well, I don't know what that means, man.
It doesn't need to do anything. It's just that it's a thing.
Well, you have to define what a thing is. I remember I mentioned TH being the philosopher's stone.
Oh my
A
gosh.
thing is TH in G. What is the basic basis of our understanding of things is our thought, right? We have a thought on things, a thought we think, TH in K. So all of these letters are connected. This is why the Masonic G is so significant. And this is why we have geography, we have ground, we have genitalia, we
We have
have a gut.
gnomes.
It
Gnomes.
relates to the material though. We have an immaterial and a material source. Let me tell you why I think while I think of it, Mattoon, I think it's one of the greatest riddles of our age. And I'm actually giving you the answer as well. It's my own devising. It's actually giving you the answer as well. But you yourself are challenged to justify why it is one of the greatest riddles of our age, if you so choose. What do you get when you overlay a dartboard atop a chessboard? And the answer is you get a boxing ring. Now, as I say, if you're interested, you got to justify why the
Okay.
claim is made.
I,
But
I have a one more here, and then Pete, I think we're gonna have to go. Samantha B says, Pete, you know nothing, and your ramblings of how this all works was incoherent as at best. I would say go learn something, but you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
do I look old?
Um,
How am I coming across here?
I gotta say, the
If I didn't take that comment to heart, for instance, if I did take it to heart, all my wrinkles would show up internally. I couldn't help but sort of expressing that, oh, Samantha be a lovely sounding name as well, and oh, some woman out there hates me. But if I didn't let it show up, all my wrinkles gradually fade away, and I think happy thoughts, and then we lose 20 years, Samantha, and then you'd be going, oh, he looks different than what I thought he did. Maybe he's a really interesting guy. I've heard rumors about the size of his manhood,
I,
but hey.
I would say interesting. Yes, I would not. I would not repeat any of those rumors. Um, all right, Pete. I need to do what Riley did, but I'm not going to do it on stream. And I will be assembling the rest of this Lego globe here in a little bit. So, Pete,
Oh, is that what the pictures behind is? Are you trying to put? Is that what the little? Oh, which side do you? Oh,
that right there, that's a Lego globe that I've been
really?
assembling. Yes.
Oh, oh, okay, that's something. I remember back when my son was maybe 7 or 8, and we bought one of those three-dimensional puzzles. You know, the ones where yeah. So we did that, and we even had the fucking globe as it hovered above. I think it was one of those puzzles. You put the pieces together three-dimensionally, and then you hover it above magnetic effect and have it there at the center of the room. So I think that's probably an extension of that. Well, good luck with that, man. But just
Yeah.
realize, Mactoon, if we point up, if everyone on Earth, if everyone listening to this right now, from your position pointed vertically upwards, we're all
They'd be
pointing in the
pointing in
same
different
direction. That is
directions.
has to be our standard for consideration, and nothing has ever deviated from that. So, pleasure talking to you, man, and thanks for the invitation. It's been a fun night.
Yes, thank you, Pete. It's been interesting for sure. And thank you to everybody that's joined. I do have that Lego globe stream coming up in a minute. That it's in the chat. And you'll find it on my channel. And I think I'm gonna have Punchy with me. He said he's around. So, um, oh, one more from George Natchik, who's a fellow Minnesotan. He says the movie A Beautiful Mind was not about John Nash, but actually about Pete. But Pete did not sign a release to use his name, so they used Nash instead.
Would you believe this? This is true now. Last thing before I go, George. So, who played the role of Nash in the movie?
Was it
It
Will
was none
Smith?
other than Russell Crowe, right? Now, my mother in Limerick, her grandmother is Crowe, so it seems that he's related to me directly. But in the early days, they moved off to Australia somewhere. So there's a direct connection there, although it's just a vague connection, and people haven't followed it up. So interesting, you should say that. But all our minds are beautiful. Don't ever forget it. Take it easy.
All
All the
right.
best. Thank you, Martin.
Um,
Go well to
and
all.
all right, we'll see you later, everybody. We'll see you soon.